This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox Newscast. Welcome, everybody, to the X&C Podcast. I am your host, Colteastwood, and over here is my good friend, middle-aged game guy, the Bulls,
yes,
the Bills Mafia. I almost said Bulls.
It's okay. We'll accept it. At least it's a mafia of some sort. Yeah, the Bills Mafia, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. We are representing. And, of course, I'm still wearing my jersey from yesterday. And I look forward to beating Mahomes. I heard that Buffalo already got a penalty against them for breathing too hard. So we look forward to next Sunday night. But the only way to do it is to completely systematically destroy him and his fat friend there, Kelsey, and his broomstick girlfriend. So we will destroy them next Sunday night, and the Bills Mafia will reign supreme. Anyways, we are here to talk about games.
Yeah,
so let's talk about games, Colteastwood.
We'll allow a little bit of sports talk because we're not going to talk about politics. Everybody's been going absolutely ballistic. TikTok went back online, which was crazy because, you know, Mag, I tried to like make a TikTok account like 2 months ago. I got almost to 1,000 followers, and then they're like, and we're done. And I uninstalled the app Saturday night or whatever it was.
Didn't they just like reinstate it in like less than 24 hours anyway? So what the
I'm
the
like,
point?
I'm laying in bed at midnight and I'm like, well, I'm not using this anymore. And I installed TikTok in the studio app. And then in the morning it was like, it's back.
It was already back. Yeah. It was just, I don't even know why they even bothered wasting their time. They'd be like, if they're gonna like, if they're gonna ban it and then reinstate it in less than 24 hours, I mean, like, why did you know? And but the best part, very much like other parts that are happening today, just watching the meltdowns is literally the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And of course the memes were coming out and the reels were coming out on Instagram. It's like people, it says TikTokers going out having to find real jobs, and it showed them like rolling in the mud, crying and stuff like that. It was really funny. Yeah. So I mean, at least we got some humor out of it, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, it's back, it's there, it's whatever, it is what it is. And funny enough, I mean, I really don't put a lot on my TikTok, and I started gaining momentum, and then I just forgot it existed, so I just dropped right off. So I was just like, oh yeah, right, I have a TikTok account, right? And you forget about it. You know what I mean? You forget about it because I mean I'm on so many other things. Like my Instagram is really for my humor, and that's a personal Instagram account, not the mag. And then with my Facebook and stuff, and then obviously Twitter is with with the gaming community under mag, and then of course YouTube under mag, and all that kind of stuff, right? But and TikTok is also a mag show one, right? But I just keep forgetting about it because I got all these other ones, and I'm like, oh yeah, I still got one. And then when I go back to it, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I got to ask the chat and the audience, like which platform do you use to watch shorter content? You use YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, or TikTok or Snapchat? Like, I don't know. I would think maybe a lot of our audience doesn't really like the shorter content, but Gaz got me into it like a year ago, and it's a big time waster that I'm like kind of hooked on. But
well, you know what the thing is? That's the thing is that when it comes down to it, it's mostly like the time. Right. And then what ends up happening is that like you're like, oh, let me check this out. Oh, let me check this out. Because, obviously it tailors to your algorithm. Right. And when it starts tailoring to your algorithm, the next thing you know, I'm watching like outdoor survival videos and then on YouTube and then mixed in with clips of The Sopranos. Right. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that scene from season 4 or whatever. And then I'm just flipping and flipping and flipping and flipping. And then the next thing you know, you're like, holy crap, I got to go to work in like 5 hours. You know what I mean? Because you're in bed, like just, well, you know what I mean? It's wild, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I've been spending most of my time, I've been making some YouTube content, and thanks to everybody who's been watching that content, supporting. But I've also been playing Mass Effect Trilogy, the Legendary Edition, where I kind of...
Again.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
Jesus Christ, Colt. There's so many games out there.
I know. But I'm in a holding pattern because tomorrow I'm playing a upcoming game early. I've got a preview for an upcoming game that I get to see without playing. And at the end of the week, I'll be playing new stuff. So, yeah, I just needed something. I kind of modded Mass Effect 1 and 2 fairly heavily and been just kind of messing around with it, just getting into the vibe and relaxing. But what have you been playing, Mag?
Well, I finally got that platinum trophy on Stellar Blade. That was one hell of a tough grind because there are 2 points of no return. And now this is an open world game, right? And you have points of no return. This is something that royally upsets me, is that you've got these moments where you have to get to this point where, like, once you get to that point, you can't go back to certain areas, right? And then I'm like, what is the point of that? Because now I have to, like, make sure with absolute certainty that I've 100%ed everything in an area, and it's hard to keep track of all that stuff in this game particularly, and then you can move on to the next area. So when you move on to the next area, then there's another point of no return. There's 2 of them, for crying out loud. And so you have to make sure you get everything then. And when you finally get all of it, and you got all the collectibles and all the side quests and all the everything, then you can progress in the story. Then you have to do the story. You have to get 3 different endings. Now, you could do 2 endings in one shot where you get one ending, and then you could go back to the start screen and then just press continue, and it'll start you right before the final boss, which is so stupid. But you do that, and then you pick the other choice. And then so I do that, right? And then you have to go back and play New Game Plus and do the entire story all over again to get that third ending. So a lot of it is just time wasting, right? So you've got, like, I would say about 15 hours of that game was time wasting. But regardless, what an outstanding game. Absolutely amazing. I've also been playing, as a lot of people have been watching on my channel, The Mag Show, I've been playing Space Marine 2 with my wife. And we had an absolute blast on my new segment on my show called Till Death Do Us Part. And it's my wife and I playing games together. So we're going to be doing episode 2 this Wednesday. We're going to be doing it again of Till Death Do Us Part. And we're going to be playing Space Marine 2. What a blast. Great game. Whole lot of fun. And then, which is kind of ironic, the irony is that I started Final Fantasy 16 because I hadn't played Final Fantasy 16 yet. It was just there on the drive in the backlog. And I'm like, well, time to start it. And, well, some people will find out by the end of the week the irony of that that choice of why I decided to start playing that game. But either way, that's what I've been doing. So I've been a busy cat doing a lot of videos on the channel. Speaking of the channel, I also just did a reaction video to the Daredevil Born Again trailer as well, right? Because it's not just going to be gaming on my channel; it's going to be gaming, movies, and television. So I'm covering all. I did a reaction a reaction video to the trailer for Daredevil Born Again. Had a lot of fun doing it. Had a lot of great feedback. A lot of people really enjoyed it. So go check that out. The Mag Show. Go check it out on my channel. But anyway, those are the games I've been playing. What about you, buddy? What have you been playing?
Meg's going so fast he doesn't remember. Just Mass Effect, like I said. I've been playing around some other stuff. Oh my God.
I really did forget. I know. I really did forget because you said Mass Effect and I got upset. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. And you went, what are you playing? And then I'm like, oh, what are you playing? Jeez,
Louise. It was 6 days ago, but I played for hours. I played Marvel Rivals with Red Wolf and his crew from his podcast, the Renegade Realm podcast, and some of his friends. We were playing for hours and had such a good time. I don't normally play games that much, but we were just laughing, and I picked the most random character and was just dominating the leaderboard with Assassin Entertainment playing as Hawkeye. I couldn't believe it. We were having a really good time. I mean, I can't believe it. The game's popular for a reason. It's absolutely
dude, I can't do it. I tried. I streamed the game about, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. Had some fun doing it. Had some great people watching. Had some great numbers on it. Mostly because it's trending, right? So a lot of people come check it out. However, I just can't do it. I can't do it. It's too effing slow.
They're saying that my audio is cutting out. I don't know why it would be. I've got full speed. I've got all the green bars here. Let's see, audio cutting out sounds fine here. Oh, yeah, when Mag was talking about at the end, when Mag was talking about what he was doing on his channel, OBS disconnected and reconnected, so it was probably kind of like biting for a minute there. But yeah, you know.
Well, apparently, there's a lot going on YouTube today. A lot of streams are crashing. A lot of things happening because YouTube is overloading today because of the inauguration. So there's a lot.
Interesting. Yeah, just disconnected again. That's weird.
Yeah, like even Nerdrotic, he was trying to cover the inauguration today, and his stream crashed 6 times.
Oh man!
So he was furious, as you can imagine. Can you imagine how much money he loses on a stream like that? Like when you got 1.2 million subs.
Yeah. Let me see if I'll check my internet usage. Not use that internet stuff. Yeah, my son's got a couple friends over. I'm wondering if they're downloading or what. But I think they're playing Fortnite. It probably isn't that. It's probably just YouTube. But Let me read a couple super chats. We'll get into. Well, before I do
sure,
that,
let's do it.
Before I do that,
whoa.
I got to say, today's show, we're covering a lot of stuff about PlayStation, but if you're an Xbox fan, or more importantly, if you're a gaming fan, there is an incredible amount of games that are coming out in the next year or so. There is a crazy deficit on the PlayStation side, and I do not take things lightly when I do take things lightly when I say PlayStation dead at the beginning of my title, but the rest of the title I take wholeheartedly serious, that PlayStation has no games roadmap. We'll talk about that in the middle of the show. We're going to talk about Yoshida's departure, his exit interview with Kind of Funny Games, and there's a lot of poignant things that happen with PlayStation, where we're going to dive into today why Xbox and PlayStation have kind of traded spots in a lot of ways, and it's not what you think. Gaming is in a really good spot unless you're only on one platform. I'll explain what that means in a little bit. We're also going to talk about some leaks for some big games and some bullcrap false things that have been going around about the games industry. So we appreciate you guys being here. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. This is XC Podcast. This is episode 184. We're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts on demand. You can, if you're listening to this while you drive, thank you. And I hope the audio on demand sounds better. It probably does. The Snow Dragon says, Cole has a blue shirt on. What does that mean? Yeah, you know, the whole thumbnail's blue, but hey, look at this.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
my distressed Colteastwood logo shirt I made. All my merch is on Threadless now. It's connected to the channel. If you want to go check it out, it's affordable and it makes you feel good inside. But today, we're going to also give away Indiana Jones coins, and we're going to also give out some more stuff that helps our sponsor. Mag, what can you tell them about today's show sponsor?
Well, I'm glad you brought it up, Colteastwood, because you know what? Let me tell you something yesterday. When I watched Josh Allen score 3 touchdowns for the Buffalo Bills, the only thing that I could think of that crossed my mind was, you know what? The only way that Josh Allen can do that, on his own, by the way, I'd like to point that out, on his own, and win the MVP, what could possibly give him the strength and energy to do so? So I reached out, of course, to the Buffalo Bills franchise, and I talked to the coach at halftime, and I said, Coach, how did Josh Allen get all those touchdowns? How is he running people over like pawns? How is he knocking them over like bowling pins? And then, of course, the coach said to me, well, Mag, I'm glad you asked, buddy, because it's 4xp.com, 4xpgaming.com. It's 4xp gaming. 4xp drinks is what Josh Allen gets squirted in his mouth constantly. Like, you know, when the little water boy comes by, that's not water.
Wait, can you prove that?
That's not water. I can prove it. You know what? If you actually look very closely and you zoom in, it actually says Ultra Nightmare right there. That's right. Josh Allen is drinking Ultra Nightmare because the man is an Ultra Nightmare to all his opponents. And that's exactly what's happening. So you know what? You want to be an MVP as well in the gaming world? Then I think you need to get some 4XP. Go to 4xpgaming.com. Colt, there's actually a little bit of a giveaway going on the website. Can you please tell them exactly where they need to go in order to be part of this giveaway? Please take it away, my friend.
Yeah, we want to be able to make sure that if you guys can get get these drinks by doing the giveaways by going to 4xp.com/XNC giveaway. If you go there, you can enter in your information to be picked for the prize. And we're giving away, I don't have one here, but the Ultra Nightmare, which is the watermelon flavored energy drink, we're giving away a tub of that where you can mix your own.
There you go.
If you win that. So all you have to do is go in there. You can also check out their social media, 4XP Gaming. And if you use X's code, the XNC 2025 as a promo code, you get 20% off your order. There's a lot to talk about. My brain's going everywhere.
Yes.
We appreciate 4XP and all they're doing. Check
Absolutely.
out their stuff. The website is in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. But we got to talk about the gaming news because there is a crap ton. Before we get rolling, we've got, I'm going to make sure this isn't from last week. It's been crazy. It's been absolutely crazy. Let me see here.
Ben Angelo, thank you for ordering.
Oh, that was last week.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Mags. I interrupted you.
No, not at all. I was just saying thank you to Ben Angelo. He ordered some 4XP from the website. So there you go. That's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Get on that website and go get some 4XP Gaming. 4xpgaming.com. Go check them out.
We appreciate you so much. Graham Man with the $2 super chat says, what if the Coalition is the secret studio? And he's talking about Xbox Developer Direct, which is happening this Thursday. They are not the secret studio. I think we won't say on here just because people shouldn't be spoiled, but I will tell you, and Mag will also tell you, it's not an Xbox first-party studio.
No, it's not.
That is showcasing. It's another third-party thing, and
actually, there's two of them.
Yes, yeah.
Whoops.
Well, we talked about the other one, which is Square talking about their partnership with Final Fantasy. Like, what are they bringing for people who haven't caught up?
Are we allowed to say what they're bringing?
Everyone's kind of talked about the Square thing, but it's the mystery game that people aren't saying publicly, just to be respectful.
Oh, I don't. But you just said not to say it.
No. I said not to say the mystery game, but the other one, I think. Well, as far as I've heard from Nate the Hate, like I didn't hear it from anybody, was that Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 are going to be announced at Developer Direct, like they're finally coming to Xbox. But yeah, the other one, mystery one, we don't have.
Well, I know what it is. I'm just not going to say it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say it here. I said it on my channel, but you know, that's just my channel. I'll take the brunt of the heat for that if anybody. But to be fair, I did say that I gave everybody a spoiler warning. So I gave everybody I gave about 45 seconds into my video before I even said what the game might be. So I'm just saying might be because, you know, things change, plans change, whatever else, right? But there are 6 games that are going to be shown at this thing, and 2 of them are Japanese. That I could tell you, and then the other 4 we know about. So yes, it'll be a lot of fun, and I think there's going to be a lot of happy people out there who are going. And like I said, you mentioned the Final Fantasy 16 thing. That's really funny. I started playing it on PlayStation, and then of course, you know, some people are saying whatever they're saying. Anyways, I'm not going to be that guy. But either way, yeah, it's going to be an exciting day. It'll be a lot of fun for a lot of people. And you know what, though? You know, I got to say this, though, for some of the people who I'm looking forward to it because I'm that guy. I am that guy. I remember the people who smack talked Final Fantasy 16 being on PlayStation only, saying it was going to be a crap game, and it is a crap game and this and that. I'm very much looking forward to those exact same people saying how awesome it's going to be now that it's on Xbox. But you know, that's what I do.
they do.
That's what I
tried the
do.
demo and
I love the hypocrisy.
Did you like 16?
I'm liking it so far. I'm only a couple hours in. Okay. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. It's very Devil May Cry-ish as opposed to Final Fantasy, which is great because I was never really a Monster Final Fantasy friend. Jesus. I was never really a Monster Final Fantasy fan. I played 7 and 8 way back in the day. That was on PlayStation 1, right? Yeah. So, I mean, and I skipped 30 years. That's like for real. I skipped 30 years and then now I'm back and I'm like, all right, let me give it a shot. So I started playing it and I'm really enjoying it. But a lot of story. I gotta say, we talked about this last week, I think, about some games. Story is a bit of a problem for me, and I don't mean that because I don't have the patience to sit down and watch a story, but you don't have to give me that much exposition when it comes to a video game, because a video game story can be told through the actions that you're doing, right, in the game.
Yeah.
And you can seamlessly move that forward so that you're constantly engaged as a gamer. It's not the same as sitting down and watching a movie. If I sit on the couch, I could literally sit down on the couch and just veg out and watch a movie. Right? That's the point of watching a movie or a television show or whatever. But a video game is a very interactive experience. And if there's long periods of time where I have to put the controller down and just sit there with my arms crossed, I start getting upset. I'm like, okay, dude, seriously, I'm playing a game here.
I'll get on my phone is what'll happen.
Well, yeah, and it's dumb. And I think there's a little bit too much of that. And I think that Square has always been a little bit guilty of a little bit too much exposition. I know that Hideo Kojima is the same. I don't want to watch a 1-hour outro video of a game. Like, dude, just find a way to weave it into the story while you're playing it. Because you just lose people. I'm like, dude, you're sitting there for like 45 minutes. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, when Square makes Final Fantasy, like, they relish, just like Kojima does. Like, they're showing off. Like, we're making this cinematic cutscene, and you're gonna watch this and love it. Yeah,
right.
But,
I do get it. But I mean, there's a. I'm not even gonna say there's a fine line. There's a very deep line of, this is an interactive experience, and when you're taking the interactive out for long chunks of time, you start to lose the audience. Mm-hmm. And you know what I'm saying? You're losing the player because, like I said, it's not something that you're just actively watching. Like I said, like a movie, passively watching, like a movie or a television show. You are participating directly in what happens in the narrative of the story. And when you pull that person away, right, thank you. When you pull that person away, you're just like, oh my God. And then, I don't need to know about the dogs of Asgardia for like 25 minutes. I don't really care.
I don't need to see a little boy in a dress go and run around. Oh, I can't stand it. I can't stand that franchise.
Yeah.
Speaking of people I can't stand, Septic Sauce, who's a channel member for 46 months, says, I come to this podcast to make myself feel young again. Well, that's true because, Gaz puts gummies, rectally inserts them and goes ballistic on his live streams. So, I mean, he comes over here and it's like a snooze fest for him. But we appreciate Gaz so much. I want to read it because we need to talk about PlayStation. PlayStation's closing shop and just giving up, and it'll be all over in a minute.
Oh yeah. PlayStation's dead. It's over. It's the same thing I hear every
Renegade,
year. But yes.
Thank you for the $5 super. Says, I'm on Witcher 3 for the third and final time, reading all the books for the second time, beating Witcher 1, Mag, and Witcher 2. See you next year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, man, listen, hats off, which, of course, I will not take my Bills Mafia hat off, but hats off, a tip of the hat to anybody who can finish Witcher 1, Witcher 2, Mafia 1, Mafia 2. Those games are tough to... Dude, they are so hard.
Mafia 2 is difficult to finish?
It's just because like the mechanics are just, you know what I mean? Like they're just a little bit dated. So like it's just difficult to play. So when you play some of those like older titles in a set of games where they have a new one coming out or whatever, people are like, oh, I'm going to go back and play X, Y, and Z, right? Like for example, like The Witcher has a new one coming out, right? So I know some people who are like, oh, I'm going to go back and play Witcher 1 and 2. And I'm like, please don't. Like, please don't. You don't understand how insanely bad it is when it's not updated. And it's, oh my God, it's rough. Yeah, it's rough, especially by today's standards, right? So I'm like, unless they remade it, right, or did a remake or whatever, or they updated, like it did a remaster with an upgrade of the control scheme or that kind of thing, right? But yeah, man, it's hard. But either way,
okay,
kudos to you.
I'm gonna ask. Yeah, Red Wolf is immune to aging games.
Mafia 2 does look great. I see Red Wolf Renegade. He's like, yeah, Mafia 2. I beat Mafia 2 last week. Rough mechanics. It seemed to me, and I mean, man, that car racing scene in Mafia 1 where you're racing the old car. Holy crap! If you've got the patience to get through that on like the hardest difficulty, which you need to get 100% on the game, boy oh boy, you've got some patience. I'll give you that.
Yeah. It's been a while, but he was loving playing through Mafia.
That's amazing. Good.
It's so cool to see people subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for joining everybody and subscribing to the channel and joining Mag and I here. I've got a poll up right now. It should already be there according to latency of a podcast. But I want to ask you guys what topic you want to hear first. We might have to dig in if you guys don't start voting as soon as possible. But I'm asking between what would you want to hear about first? The GTA 6 leaks, Avowed being delayed, Yoshida's interview with PlayStation, or PlayStation having no games. So I'll give you a minute to do that while I get ready into what we're going to talk about. Let me see. One quick thing. I don't want you to go too far into this, Mag, but just briefly, there was a announcement today that hopefully I wrote it down. I didn't write it down. That Resident Evil 6 and the 7 remaster or whatever it's called, and Resident Evil Origins are being ESRB rated for Xbox and PlayStation, which means they've got, classics coming back. Is this something that you would be ready to dive into? Because you're pretty much a freak.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care what you could remake and remaster 1,000 times over. I will keep buying them. I don't care because Resident Evil is my jam. I have more 1,000 out of 1,000 achievement points and more platinum trophies on Resident Evil series than any other series out there. I just do them all and I never stop. So I'm absolutely in 1,000%. I'm in, and so whatever they do, I will be there for it. Like if they do like a Resident Evil 0. Now you're saying that these are remasters or remakes, because I know the remakes is a whole different ball game and they take a long time to make.
I don't know. I don't know what Resident Evil 7 Origins or whatever means because I don't follow the franchise like you do. But I thought maybe you might know.
Resident Evil 7 Origins, I don't know anything about that. I just know that Resident Evil 7 is Biohazard. That's the one that takes place in Louisiana in the first person one. The house. Yeah. And then, but I know that the next remake in the series, if I'm not mistaken, is Code Veronica.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did this off the top of my head. Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 7, and Resident Evil Origins have been also rated alongside Resident Evil 6. So yeah, a ton of
But Resident Evil 4 was just remade last year, 2 years ago. I mean, it was up for Game of the Year.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what this means. RE4,
That's so
RE7.
insanely.
Yeah.
That's so insanely strange. I mean, like that, like I said, they literally just remade it, and it was my game of the year in 2022. It was my game of the year. It was absolutely stellar. The remake was absolutely stellar, and I believe the next one. I mean, of course, they got Resident Evil 9 coming out, but the next one in the series, if I'm not mistaken, is Code Veronica. Is the next remake, the ground up remake, and then I don't know what they're doing after that. But at some point, I was expecting Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6.
Yeah.
Right, to be remade. And then, you know, Resident Evil 6 is kind of like the Rocky 5 of the series. You know what I mean? It's like the weakest one that not everybody liked or whatever. I could think that you could really use a remake love, because that really is the Rocky 5 of the series as Resident Evil 6. I'm struggling playing through it with my wife still now, even now. And then about halfway through we stopped because I'm just like, I just can't. I mean, it's not horrible, but she's having a lot of fun, but it's just not the same. But I mean, Resident Evil 5, one of my favorites, and the fact that it was co-op, it was fantastic. That's the one in Africa. Great game, and that was a lot of fun.
Level with a friend, and that's it. But
oh, really? Resident Evil 5 is great on co-op, man. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's back. Especially if you got someone who all the games were like grayish, brownish, yellowish, like they're all kind of one color. But
yeah, it was very it was very muted. Yeah, but I mean, I've played through that with my wife. I think like 4 times on 3 different generations of hardware. No joke. We just keep playing, like every time, like every generation that comes out, they keep either remastering it or re-releasing it. We just keep replaying it, and like to her and I, it's our favorite co-op game that we've ever played together. Is Resident Evil 5. We have so much fun. So, but yeah, listen, Resident Evil. To make it short and sweet, Resident Evil, I'll take it. I'll take all of it all day long. Don't care. I'm an absolute shill for Resident Evil. Don't care. So keep bringing it, and you can charge me $100 for it. Go ahead.
All right.
That should make everybody happy in the chat.
Okay. There's your Resident Evil update for all you that care. Yeah, it got leaked because of the ESRB rating on Xbox. So that will kind of fold into some of the stuff we're talking about. Now is this segment. PlayStation has no games. I was going to bring up a graphic. I'll save it for another day, but I have a graphic ready that shows the roadmap. What's going on right now is PlayStation is in. Okay, I'm not going to pretend like I'm exaggerating. All right. Now, if you're an Xbox fan, let's say like you like the console war a little bit. If you're really about the competition of the platform, because right now it's not really about the plastic. It's about who has the great games, who is providing the games industry with lots of great stuff to play. And it's definitely right now, it's definitely not PlayStation. And there's a little bit of a speech that I want to give as we go into this, because there's some stuff I have to cover. A lot of you voted for the Yoshida interview, but there's a couple things that Mag and I will bring into the discussion that are supportive of what we're talking about. PlayStation is in a really bad spot right now because they have 2 to 3 years left of the console generation before they move into the PS6. And they just chopped off the legs of most of their studio's games in one way or another by either canceling them, delaying, changing gears, or just not having anything ready to announce anytime soon. So what you're ever thinking that PlayStation is going to make, it's coming at the end of the generation or into the next generation. Everything that you thought about PlayStation, everything that as an Xbox fan or a big PlayStation fan has been just completely wrong. PlayStation is the premier gaming platform, but they have not seen this generation to be anything like they saw in the last half of PS3, all of the PS4. And why I'm going to explain this is because Yoshida interviewed with Greg Miller and said that Horizon Forbidden West didn't sell as well as they hoped. Spider-Man got outsold by Helldivers 2, a game that PlayStation Studios didn't make, which is surprising. Helldivers was supposed to be really small and became a huge success. Yoshida also said, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, he said that PSVR 2 is a massive failure, that they don't even want to talk about it, and also that he was not on board with what PlayStation Studios and their platform was doing this generation on the PS5, and it relegated him down to cover indies instead of first party. And one quote says that studios will have a harder time proposing new ideas right now for this console generation because of its closures of numerous live service games. It means they are not currently clear on what type of games they are looking to greenlight. So another thing I'm going to break down here is Weapon Wheel Podcast had a 5-minute rant from one of their panel members, Jack Move Johnny. I'm going to break down some things he said without playing his whole clip because he just gave this outstanding speech that PlayStation guys just aren't ready to say. And unfortunately, it's something that I've been saying for many, many years because I've been seeing, I'll give Mag the mic here, where I've been seeing PlayStation fans have listened far more to Phil Spencer's, whatever Phil Spencer says or what Phil Spencer thinks the industry's doing, instead of listening to their own executives on the PlayStation platform, because Sean Layden told you it's not a walled garden. They're moving to a consoleless future. They got rid of him. Jim Ryan came in and said, we need live service games. Your consoles aren't enough. We need to sell outside the PS5 and the PS4, and you didn't listen. Now Hiroki Totoki came in with Herman Hulst and said, what are you doing? Why are you spending $300 million on a game and you're only selling to a few PlayStations? This isn't working. Mag, what is going on with PlayStation? What are you expecting? What's going on right now?
I expect them to keep doing what they're doing. They're going to. Now, the thing is, they did mess up with this live service situation. I understand what they're doing. They're doing what heroin addicts call chasing the dragon. So they're looking for that. They're looking for that gold right there. Because if you look right now, let's not face it. I mean, a lot of people a lot of people say whatever they want to say about live service games and making fun of Sony and live service games. If you actually look at the top 5 best games that are on right now, 4 out of the 5 are live service games.
Yes.
So you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So let's not be silly. The top games on the planet are all live service games, including the new one that we just talked about 20 minutes ago when we first started the show is Marvel Rivals is now the one of the biggest games on the planet, and it's, guess what, folks, a live service game. So let's cut that one down. Now I can understand what they're doing, but at the same time, what they should have been doing. Now they've been doing a lot of the third-party stuff, the money hatting and all that, whatever exclusives, and it seems to work out for them for the most part. So they're going to continue to do that. Obviously, Xbox will not do that because they're doing their own thing, and they've gone kind of off the beaten path with that stuff. They're not money hatting any third-party games anymore. You're seeing less and less of that coming to Game Pass, unless the game is like much older. You're not going to find a lot of day ones in there because they got a lot of studios that they can release their own day ones, right? From the own studios that they have now, that they have whatever it is, 30-something studios, right? 36 studios, I think. And so they're going to be doing that. So they're not going to be paying, whatever, Capcom to have Devil May Cry 6 in their day one.
Capcom's not going to allow that, no.
Yeah, I'm just making an example. I'm just giving an example, but there's the first thing that popped in my head. So they're not going to do that. But Sony will continue to do that in order to fill in those gaps between their first parties. Now, this year in particular seems a little bit suspect, but I think it's only because my personal feeling is that Rockstar has held the second half of this year ransom. Sure. And so now, and the problem with that is that they don't know, like, not just PlayStation, a lot of these third-party companies don't know what to do with their games because they literally are not releasing release dates unless it comes now, between now and the next 4 months, 5 months, is because, like I said, Rockstar is holding the second half of this year ransom, and nobody knows what to do. Now, the only thing is that we have so far, like even from the Xbox side of things, I can tell you that the second half of the year for Xbox is Call of Duty, right? And Outer Worlds. Now, the thing is, when those games drop, we're not 100% certain, but it's going to be somewhere in that latter half of the year where they had the gall to say something about it, where it's going to go. Now, Call of Duty's a juggernaut, and Call of Duty's always going to do well. So that's the kind of thing that they're not even worried. They will be slightly worried about Grand Theft Auto 6, but at the same time, they could actually just push it back at like a month or whatever else away from Grand Theft Auto, and then, Call of Duty will continue to make billions of dollars, so it's not a worry. Outer Worlds 2, I could see them absolutely pushing it towards the end of the year, but again, we don't know what's going on because Grand Theft Auto 6 is holding everything.
Jeez. Okay, let me refresh the page, make sure that we're back.
People are saying rest in peace in the chat. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Let me see. Buffering. Hold on. I think we're back. Yeah. Holy crap. Okay. When you were talking about the roadmap, I'll make sure. But when you were talking about the roadmap, yeah.
Right.
I was going to put up a graphic, but the graphic I made is like really, really, it's a huge PNG, like really huge file. And it totally crashed OBS. So yeah, never again.
So the thing is, Maverick, knock it off. So what's happening today, folks, is that OBS, Discord, YouTube are all real flimsy today. Okay, so I've seen like a lot of my friends' streams have crashed today. Like I said, Nerderotic's stream crashed 6 times today. All kinds of crap is going. StreamYard completely faltered for a lot of people. So like there's like the internet is just garbage today because I think there's so much going on in the political world that like everybody's like tuned in and everything's sort of into overdrive right now. So everything seems to be crashing out. So it's a situation.
That one was my fault, but anyway.
No.
Do you remember what you were saying before I rudely
of course
destroyed you?
I just don't know how far along I got. But I was just going to say from the PlayStation side of things, we know about Ghost of Yotei, which is going to be in the first 6 months of the year. There's absolutely no way they're going to launch it in the second half of the year because why would you waste it when you've got, GTA 6 coming up? And the presumption there is that GTA 6 marketing rights will probably most likely go to PlayStation as it usually does. That's going to shift a ton of consoles their way for a lot of people, casuals or whatever, who haven't bought into the ecosystem. They're not going to go out and buy PS5 Pros unless there's like a visual, for the hardcore, unless there's a massive difference in between, like, let's say the base consoles, like the Series X, the PS5, and then there's a massive difference between that and the PS5 Pro. I don't think there will be. There are, you know what I mean? So I think that there's a lot of people out there with the thought that GTA 6 is actually going to run 60 FPS on the base PS5 and the base and the Series X. I'm just saying that's a thought process, not mine. I'm just saying some people thinking that might actually be the case. So that you don't have people rioting in the streets, but we shall find out. But the thing is, again, just, you know what I mean? Like last year, look at what they did last year. Okay, let's take a look at 2024. Sony dominated the entire year. They absolutely crushed it. I got all the numbers there in case anybody wants to deny it, but they absolutely curb stomped everybody last year. And so they had a record 2024. Helldivers 2, which is, I mean, they own the IP, but it's not their studio. They dominated the charts for the first 5 months of the year with that. And then they had a resurgence towards the end of the year. So the game was doing incredibly well, way more than they thought. Black Myth Wukong moved a ton of consoles. I think they sold like 11 million copies in the first week because a lot of people in China started buying PS5s for Black Myth Wukong. That was a big success for them. I didn't buy it because I'm hearing that even on the PS5 Pro, the game runs like crap. So I was like, you know what? If it's not even running good there, I'm not getting this game. Plus, I'm not a boss rush guy. I'm not really interested. You had that.
Meg, where are we? What
do you mean?
Where are we on this conversation?
Well, because I'm leading up to 2025. I'm just saying. 2025, 2024, 85% of the sales of Call of Duty were on PlayStation.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then the Game of the Year awards, 4 out of the 6 games were on PlayStation only. They did an incredible year. So I understand. Now you look into 2025, you're like, oh crap, there's not a whole lot going on. The only thing we really know about is Ghost of Yotei. Do you actually think? Now, I'm going to look directly in the camera here.
Okay.
If you own a multi-billion-dollar corporation, did you actually think for 1 second, please, I'm just asking for reason and common sense. Does anybody actually believe that they're just going to go, yeah, we're just going to throw away 2025 and not worry about it?
I mean, Xbox has done that so many years, bro. So many times they were like, well, I guess 2019 is a throwaway, 2017 is a throwaway, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, that's possible. But I mean, I can't see them doing it. They've sat on their hands for a few years here and there because they allow, the name of their popularity. Like, for example, someone in the chat just
what? Now where'd you go?
A mountain are gonna sell, right? And especially if they have the marketing rights. If they have the marketing rights, forget it. It's game over, right? It's game over.
Yeah.
That'll dominate the whole year by itself. We don't know what. So the thing is.
Gosh, we're losing Mag.
What do they call those PlayStation shows? I don't know.
They're state of play. You cut out a little bit, so we're both gonna have to deal with just a little bit. But you guys are amazing for putting up with it.
I don't know what the hell's going on today.
Yeah, I mean,
my internet's beautiful. Everything's great. I'm blazing here. I'm on I'm on Cat 9 Ethernet.
If you know me, I always tell you when things are like iffy on my end, and right now it's like I have not dropped a single frame. So YouTube's
it's weird.
Absolutely like bombarded today.
No, it's got to be YouTube, dude. It's got to be YouTube because even my audio sounds a little funky from my end too. But like everything, my internet's like on fire. It's like greased lightning right now.
Yeah. But thank you guys for putting up with it. But
yeah, thank you guys.
As long as everything like stays fairly stable, we'll continue to talk about the topics, because Meg's talking about this PlayStation's problem right now, and we kind of go all out over in the weeds on this, but
they need to do a show, one of those state of plays. They will do a state of play.
They will. There's supposed to be,
and then they'll map out okay, well, there you go. Then they're going to map out how 2025 is going to go. But if anybody thinks they're just going to come out there and be like, nothing, see you 2026. No, that's not how they operate.
What about Yoshida telling the PlayStation fans that they need to buy more remasters if they want to fund new AAA games, because they're not selling enough games as it is. My complaint about, I used to put this graphic up on the show once in a while that showed all the games that PlayStation's first party's done this generation, and Xbox, and 9 of 30 games are remasters, which is crazy on PlayStation. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's funny when you look at the list.
They tend to do a lot of those way too much.
Yeah. And so Yoshida says like they're using that as a crutch to try and earn money because there's not enough sold on the PlayStation. Everyone's like, oh, PlayStation 5, we're top MPD charts. We're a worldwide selling console. We have the most sales. We sell the most on every game. When a game comes out, we sell the most copies on our platform. But their own in-house games, God of War Ragnarok available. One of my friends was saying they sold like 12 or 15 million copies of God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, 15. It's funny you mentioned that, because I was just looking it up. 15 million copies. Yeah. 15
million copies, but they had 30 to 40 million PS5s by then, and 100 million, whatever it was, PS4s.
Oh, yeah, the PS4s, right. I keep forgetting that was a cross-generational title, yeah.
Same thing with Horizon. Like, Horizon sold under their expectations, and people just don't understand. Like, that's still a successful game. They made their money. That's a successful number, but it's not sustainably successful, because if everyone thinks there's no reason to own an Xbox will never make another console, you're dead wrong. Why is Square Enix shaking hands and signing contracts saying they're no longer going to be exclusive to PlayStation? All their games are going to release on Xbox from now on, if that Xbox console platform doesn't matter. The truth is, it does matter. They do sell games on Xbox. They sell enough of them for people to take notice. Capcom, Square, you name it. And then one of my friends said, I said, well, there's still studios or publishers that skip Xbox. He goes, who? And I'm like,
the big ones won't skip Xbox.
No,
the
never.
Big ones don't. It's just like some of those other companies that don't have the connection with, like the Black Myth Wukong, Stellar Blade. You know what I mean? They don't have any sort of association with the North American.
Yeah.
They don't have any association with a North American company, so they tend to stick to whatever sells the most, and that generally goes to PlayStation and Nintendo. Right. So and then it's a Japanese company, they'll stick with them, whatever. But it is what it is. But like, this doesn't have anything to do with that. See, that's the other thing too that I actually dislike greatly, is that a lot of people take these conversations and then immediately they either involve Xbox or PlayStation in the conversation, and I'm like, who brought this up?
Yeah.
This got nothing to do with Xbox. It's got nothing to do with PlayStation. I put a post up the other day where I'm just like, listen, I'm not console warring this year. Sorry, not doing it. I didn't want to start my year this way, and I backed away from all of it. I saw what you said. That was really funny.
Rejoin us.
Rejoin us. Like, come back to us. And I'm like, it's just so exhausting. And when I see somebody say something about Xbox, and then immediately the next question is PlayStation, right? And then someone says something about PlayStation, the next person Xbox. I'm like, guys, listen, man, that's not how it works. That's not how they work, by the way. They don't do this. You know what I mean? Phil Spencer doesn't do this. The guys at Sony don't do this. I don't even know
they're two totally
Herman
separate
Hulst doesn't do this
at this point.
They don't do this.
Nearly the same.
Right. And like they offer their own products, and guess what? Go out and purchase the product if you wish to. Or invest in their ecosystem and go play the games. And I said that this year. I said, I'm just going to go out there and play the games. I don't care what they're going to do. But I don't know. It just doesn't make much sense to me.
That's what I'm trying to explain to people. People get so mad about this. I'm tired of listening to people hate this sentence. I'm tired of listening to the console loyalists or the console purists tell me how it is, because they're not right. It is not about the plastic and which games are only available on that. It's about the games. It's about what games I get to play or how I get to play them. And a lot of people are like, well, if the next Xbox console doesn't do very well, then we're going to lose all our games. They'll never make another console. And I've been one to tell you that I think Xbox will have one more console in them, and then maybe they'll be done. But I don't even think that works. I think the future is Xbox will make another console, and then the next one will be so unpopular. But it's for those people that only are able to play those games, that don't want to make the move to other platforms, because as I've said many times, in the late 2030s, we may not even give a flying crap about a console. It'll be like, oh yeah, I loved it when I had my CD player. That was awesome. I love those days. But I'm good.
Now you got Spotify.
But we can't look forward that easily. And so I'm trying to tell people who get mad at me when I say I don't like to listen. I don't want to listen to how people think the industry is moving when they're console loyalists, because they're so narrowed down to a scope they can't see the forest for the trees. And me, who's been playing more on PS5, Xbox, and mostly PC, where I can play whatever I want or however I want. You start to understand the power of your purchase. And I think the future, this is going to sound psychotic, Mag, but I think the future is that you'll be able to buy a game. Let's say you buy a game from Square Enix or whatever. I think the future is you'll buy that game and you could load it up on any device you want, because you paid $70. You can load it up and it's like, oh, let us get your save. Okay, here's your save. Oh, I want to play this on PlayStation now. Oh, let us go get your save from the cloud. And those cloud saves are going to have to be hosted by either the platform or the publisher or whatever. But I think the future is no longer, I only get to play this game because I chose this piece of plastic. It's an archaic way.
Microsoft is doing that. Microsoft is doing that.
They're doing it with other games. I told
you about that 3 weeks ago. Oh, they will. Some of the companies will do it. Absolutely.
Like
they'll
Guardians of the Galaxy Guardians of the Galaxy 2021. Xbox doesn't own that. It only went to Game Pass like a year later. It doesn't have any partnership with Xbox. I looked on my PC. It's available on the Xbox PC app, and my achievements are there and my progress.
Yes, and that's what I was telling us 3 weeks ago, dude. Remember when we sat down and I talked about what Microsoft's new strategy is? It's no longer going to be play anywhere, it's play everywhere. And your license for the purchase or whatever is going to be available on all the other, like on the PC side, you'll be able to access it on Steam and this and that, whatever. And you'll be able to get it on all their servers. And they are going to, they're just going to have to do it. They're going to have to do that because that's already happening. Like right now, if you were to buy a movie on YouTube, right? Like if for whatever reason, I don't know why people do that, but let's say you buy a digital movie on YouTube, you can watch it you can watch it in the Apple Store. Right? It's already there waiting for you. Now, the thing is, what's going to happen is these companies are going to have this race to the bottom. That's the other thing. They're going to have a race to the bottom of they want you to buy it on their, right? On their launcher or whatever.
Yeah, because buy it from them. Yeah.
Right. And so what's going to happen is then they're going to start lowering the prices, which is great for the consumer. But again, it's going to be a race to the bottom because everybody's going to want your attention so that you purchase things on their store. Right. And that's what's going to end up happening is being a bit of an issue. But you know what? That's a kind of issue that'll work itself out eventually. I know Microsoft is doing that. Sony, I don't see them doing that as much just yet, but there will be more cross integration with the PC system. But that's slowly making its way there too. Right. But the thing is, like you were saying earlier about the about people afraid that, oh my God, Microsoft or Xbox is going away. Listen, as long as Microsoft's doors are open, you will be able to access your games one way or another. Even if they decide to one day never make another console ever again, you will still be able to access your players through a launcher at some way, somehow, as long as Microsoft's doors are open. So don't worry about that. It'll be beyond your lifetime, before it's a problem. So don't even think about it.
Yeah, don't even that worst case scenario would be like the absolute worst case scenario. That's
what I'm saying. Absolute
Meg and I are kind of describing like if Xbox completely went away. Like you'd have to think of a future where Xbox Network, Xbox Gaming, and Microsoft Gaming completely was gone, which is probably at this point impossible because I don't think that's ever going to happen. And then in 2049, somebody will be like, "This you?" Like Xbox would have to say all of your purchases that you've purchased since 2001, those are now available. We're going to have to transfer those over to the PlayStation or the Gongle, which will be like the futuristic platform that takes over PlayStation and Nintendo.
That's what it'll be. It'll be some kind of a launcher that you'll be able to just access directly on your. I mean, if you can access things on your monitor right now or your TV right now without a console or anything else, you'll be able to access your digital library in the future on pretty much any one of your digital devices.
Yeah.
And that's how it's going to move forward. Let's say 20 years from now and they decide to never make another Xbox or hardware or whatever. And you know that they're angling to do that anyway because it saves them hundreds of millions of dollars in R&D, packaging, shipping, manufacturing, all that kind of stuff. All these things, right? And eventually they just want it to be a direct laser into your brain of you playing video games because it saves them a ton of money. It's not about how they're trying to make your life better. They don't care about your life, and they certainly don't care about you. All they care about is making more money and how can we do it cheaper.
Keep spending money. Keep spending. Sir, you need to spend some money with your Xbox.
Would you like some fries with that, sir? Yeah, you like
so
the guy
I also want to add in that
Krusty Burger. Yeah.
I also want to add in that PlayStation, they'll make their games and they won't let everybody play them wherever they want.
No, because they maintain that model.
Yeah, the future will be PlayStation will let you play their games many places that have compute except for an Xbox and
yes.
Also, we'll get back to the PlayStation has no games. You're going to see a lot more than just one game going to the Nintendo Switch this coming generation. There's going to be some cool stuff here.
Yeah, it's great.
So
it's great for everybody. I enjoy it.
It is. So PlayStation.
I just enjoy it. I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, and I know I want to apologize. Somebody in the chat said a couple people saying who owns everything. You can play wherever you want. I understand that. It took me a long time to add an extra console to my gaming space because it seems like overabundance, but sometimes you can get a console used for a good price, and that's kind of how I got started. I bought my PS4 for $200. Yeah,
Facebook Marketplace. Okay, let me check right now. I'm going to check right now and see what I'm sure they're a little bit higher. PS5 digital.
Back in 2018, I bought a PS4 for $220, and it came with Uncharted 4. Well, Meg's going to give us
it for $300 Canadian.
A used PS5.
That's like PS5 used a PS5 $300 Canadian. That's about $220 American.
I mean, it's a lot of money,
man. That's like that's like 2 games these days.
Yeah,
it's like 2.5 games.
I know.
And then people bitch that they got 100 games in their backlog. Oh, I got 100 games in my backlog. Well, you know what? Instead of buying 100 games, buy 97 games.
I'm also trying to tell you that the future is. Yeah. The future is also not you being so restricted. There's going to be far more options for us as gaming consumers. So this all came up because PlayStation announced that they are canceling 2 of their live service games. They started out this generation saying they were going to make 12 live service games, so I'll get into that in a moment. But PlayStation canceled a God of War live service game, and I know it's kind of late. This broke on Thursday, and the show doesn't go start till Monday. But Bluepoint, the team that makes Demon's Souls and Shadow of the Colossus, a very talented, high-quality studio that normally does remakes, was tasked with making a live service God of War game.
Such a bizarre.
I can only assume, Meg, that it was. I can only assume.
How do you even do that?
I can only assume that they took the God of War Ragnarok engine, not the build, and gave it to Bluepoint and said, "Here's what we want: this and this and this in co-op and PvE or PV whatever it is. Here's all the assets. Make it look better. Make it online and make it awesome." And PlayStation looked at it and goes, "It isn't awesome. You've worked on this for 3 years and you're done." Well, I don't know how long they worked on it, but they could have worked on it for almost 4 years. The other one was Ben Studios was told to cancel their live service game. We don't even know what it is. They also told Ben, it is a waste of time. They also told Ben, no, you can't make a Days Gone 2, even though Days Gone is amazing and sold 8 to 10 million copies just the PS4 alone. I don't know what the heck was Ben going to make.
You know, my personal opinion, 2 massive mistakes. Now, Bluepoint, they're normally a remaster studio, remake studio, like you said. So them getting their project cut didn't really affect me at all. I'm like, okay, whatever. That doesn't stop anything. The biggest travesty out of this, and this is where my criticism comes for Sony on this respect, is that Ben Studios should have been making a Days Gone 2 right after the release of Days Gone 1. When you sell 5 million, I'm going to check the sales again on the Days Gone series. But I got to tell you, if you got a game like Days Gone where people really enjoyed the game, 7.3 million units of Days Gone. And you're telling me that that's a failure for a smaller studio like Ben's studio? Are you guys out of your minds? That like some people are like, oh, it didn't meet our expectations. What were you expecting? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. This is not like a household name like God of War, where everybody knows who Kratos is. I don't care what you play; everybody knows who Kratos is. You know, when they showed him when they showed a trailer on the basketball court way back in the PS4 era, every person in there knew who Kratos was, and they know who God of War was, right? So you can expect that to sell 50 million. When you got a game about some unknown biker in an open world zombie game, which is a fantastic game, by the way, with a fantastic story. That was one of my top 5 games of the last generation for me, and it sold 7.3 million units on a debut game, that nobody's ever heard of. Are you kidding me? Like, that's like a rookie. That's basically a rookie season, so to speak. And you had like an all-star game. You had an all-star year. That doesn't make any sense to me. They should have been working on Days Gone 2 right off the bat. And if Sony had any bitching to do about the game, they could have put that in there and made that something that they could have fixed with the sequel, because you got lots of time to do it. Like when they released Uncharted 1, Sony, I know that Sony as a fact, I know a lot of people at Sony brass were not happy about certain aspects of the game or whatever, and they went to Naughty Dog, they sat down with them, worked with them, and said, what can we do to make this better, and this and that. They sat down, they mapped out a plan with Amy Hennig there, and they said, okay, what are we going to do here? And then they made the game 10 times better. And then Uncharted 2 was an absolute landslide success. They could have done that with Days Gone as well, because by then, Days Gone selling 7.3 million units was slowly becoming a household name. But by making them do a live service game that nobody asked for is literally the stupidest thing I've ever heard them ever. Like, literally the dumbest thing they could have done. If you wanted to do what Jim Ryan and the rest of them were trying to get into this live service situation way back in the early part of this generation, they should have got third-party studios and smaller studios that didn't affect the, you know what I mean, the pipeline of the main first-party studio games. Well like said. You see what I'm saying? Like, for example, you wasted Naughty Dog's time. I mean, of course, Naughty Dog still has that game with the chick with the, you know, with the drink there, whatever the hell it's called, the something protocol with, you know, the bald broad with the big stupid eyebrows, and then she would
Meg, Intergalactic Heretic Prophet. Yeah, with the
there you go.
She's like, strawberry milkshake.
Yeah. Yeah, that one. Okay, yeah. So they were working on that game. So, but you wasted Naughty Dog's time by trying to make them do a Factions game. Now, the thing is, I was looking forward to Factions because anything Last of Us, I'm a huge fan of. However, let's push that aside. You wasted their time. They could have been working on Last of Us 3 a lot earlier. All right, at least in the pre-production phase when they got, you know, like some of the pre-rendered stuff and whatever else. They could have done a lot of that. The storyboards going
by so fast too.
Right, and so like you could have, instead of wasting their time with that, you could have had that. Instead of wasting Ben Studios' time with that bull crap, they could have already been like 1 year away from Days Gone 2. You could have released a remaster of Days Gone now, like a full remaster for the PS5 Pro and the PC, and then you know, literally a year later you release Days Gone 2 in 2026, and everything would be hunky dory.
Amazing, enhanced on the PS5.
I know. I'm just you know,
spitballing ideas.
They remastered Last of Us 2, didn't they? Did that need a remaster? The PS4 version looks absolutely stunning. Why'd you waste the people's time there too? Of course, I bought it because I don't care, because I'll get another platinum, because Last of Us is my favorite series one of my favorite series of all time, next to Resident Evil. Then you wasted Blue Point's time. They could have been remastering, remaking, whatever. What's the one that everybody cries on their hands and knees for? Bloodborne. They could have done Bloodborne.
Oh, that was another great quote from Yoshida.
You wasted other time there too, dude. And like, what are you guys doing? You wasted time. Now you've got a year.
PlayStation won't do it. PlayStation won't make a Bloodborne sequel because that studio head that created Bloodborne has to make it, and they won't work with another team. So it's partially on the Bloodborne developer, but.
Well, now look what happened. So now you've wasted a couple of studios, not all their studios. You wasted a couple of their studios' time, which could have been making some first-party bangers. Now you're into a year where you've got Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out, and now you're like, oh crap, right? You've got, oh crap. Now we got a situation where we have to be careful what we actually do have ready to release and what's coming out. You know what I mean? Because now you've got a situation where you, like I said, the second half of the year is being held held hostage by Rockstar. So they're in a bit of a pickle there. However, I expect them to be, don't think that they're just going to say, oh, well, it's a wash. They don't do that. You're not the market leader by saying it's a wash. So you're going to continue to dominate. You're still going to do incredibly well. A lot of Xbox's games are going over to PlayStation. What do you think? PlayStation doesn't know that? They're doing that too, or they're going to be getting They're going to be getting 30% of some of those cuts of those Xbox games going over to PlayStation. So it's going to round out some of that stuff too.
Yeah,
so,
if you think PlayStation is going to throw their games on these hybrid consoles that might start coming out, PlayStation games are going to be on these handhelds. Is PlayStation going to go PC day and date a lot sooner than we thought? Absolutely.
I don't believe it.
Well, you better believe it. I'm going to read some supers.
They said they're good. I mean, what's his face there? The guy said, we are not putting them on day and date because our focus is the console.
You know who else says things and backs out of them like a month later?
Phil Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
Every 6 hours.
Do I believe that PlayStation executives are just like Phil Spencer? Absolutely not. I don't. But I've watched PlayStation continually change and backtrack and flip what they're doing and try and evolve to the market as slowly as possible because their fans are the hardest to condition, and Xbox guys just go, okay.
Yeah, but that's because a lot of what Xbox has been trying over the years has not worked.
Yeah, and it's just taking.
So I think people are more open to just like, okay, well, Xbox tried this, it didn't work. Okay, let's try that, and so people are more susceptible to that change because they're like, well, that didn't really work out. Mm-hmm. Right? Where on the other side of the fence, like you look at Nintendo, for example, Nintendo rarely, outside of the Wii U, the Nintendo rarely fails. Right, and because of that, I think that they're very stringent in their business plan because they know that this is what they do and whatever else. I think that the Wii U had a lot to do with the messaging and the marketing and the name of the product. You know what I mean? If you just called it the Wii 2, it probably would have done incredibly well. I bet you anything, it probably would have done much better.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just my feeling. That's just my feeling on that. But either way, listen, they're both going to have a great year. Don't forget, Doom is coming out day one there. You could call that a PS5 game because a lot of people are going to buy it over there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then Call of Duty, same thing. So, I mean, if you look at it, Ghost of Yotei, Doom, Call of Duty, I know 2 out of 3 are Xbox, but it doesn't matter. They don't really care. Does anybody care? Look at last year. 85% of Black Ops 6 sales went to PS5. So that you could, and they didn't have to pay for marketing. You might as well have just called that a PlayStation game at that point. So if you look at it from that respect, you've got 3 games right there. You got Grand Theft Auto. If they get the marketing from Grand Theft Auto, you know what's insane? That's already a blockbuster year for them. They're going to make a ton of money and they're going to sell a lot of consoles. Xbox, going to make a ton of money and do a lot of business. Well, and they're going to keep increasing numbers. So guess what?
I mean, Xbox is going to Yeah, and Xbox is going to make a ton of money off of Grand Theft Auto.
They're going to make a ton of money
without the marketing rights, right? So
they're all going to make. Listen, they're all. You know who's going to be making a lot of money except for us? Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft.
Yep.
They're going to make a ton of money while we don't. While we're paying $11 for eggs. They're making billions of dollars.
We pay $100 for Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about that? Because
we might talk about that. I want to get into the Grand Theft Auto leaks in a bit, but we've got a few more important things. I don't want you to lose spot, but let me read these super chats.
I'm done.
You're done? No, you're not.
No, I'm done talking.
Oh, Mag, you're great. Let's see. I'll make sure I don't miss anything. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the show.
The chat's absolutely on fire tonight. You guys are so awesome.
We appreciate you. It's been a really good week. There's been lots of news to talk about, and some of it like kind of just sits there all week until we show up, and we appreciate you guys being here. Grandman, thank you for the $2 super, says, good news, got a PS5 now. My room is a little warmer. Well, yeah, I've got
it's cold out there.
Yeah.
Get those PS5 digitals for $220 American, and then you can warm up your rooms, folks.
I know that the Series X and PS5 have the same thermal signature, so that not one's hotter than the other or overheats more than the other, but my Series X just really seems to like bake this room that I'm in. Well, like if I'm playing Fortnite, for some reason, Fortnite just like I also wanted to announce this way early on the show. When we were doing the promo, I was supposed to announce Nerds and Other Legends, you won the Gravewalker tub for 4XP Gaming. For people who don't know what 4XP Gaming is, I saw some jokes about the enhancement, but it's an energy drink that's also full of minerals and vitamins. It's supposed to be a great, they've set it up to be a great alternative to be a healthy energy drink. Look at that hat. Love it. And let's see, where is it? Do I have one here? Yeah, the Gravewalker, which is white gummy, which is
Yeah, man.
It's hard for me to say which one's my favorite, but we didn't talk about the showcase one today was Ultra Nightmare, which is watermelon. And if you're a watermelon fan, you'll really like this one. White gummy is my favorite, or blue raspberry.
Yeah, man.
Don't make me pick. All right. Let me get back to Supers.
Man.
So,
right,
Nerds and Other Legends, please reach out to 4XP Gaming. You can check out their link in the description. It'll take you to their Instagram or their Twitter, and you can message them to get your prize, and they will ship it out to you. Also, check out their store and order something, guys. These guys are amazing. Phase 23 Brooklyn, New York, does a $2 super chat, says PS5 is dead, no games coming. Well, that's facts, bro. This year they've got Death Stranding 2 at the end of the year. And
I forgot about that game. My goodness.
What's that?
I forgot about Death Stranding 2.
Yeah, Death Stranding 2.
Is that a full exclusive?
For now, yeah. It's weird because PlayStation's publishing it like they did the last one, even though
How did the last one sell?
Pretty well, I think. Maybe.
I'm about to find out right now. Here, hold on.
Yeah, it was a great experience on Xbox. Just
Holy
so much better
crap.
There. Did it do well?
It sold 19 million copies.
19 million people wanted to play Delivery. I love the game, but it just seems like
that is shocking.
But that's Kojima factor, bro. That's Kojima factor.
Dude, that's a little excessive, though, isn't it?
That's good.
Holy crap!
Well,
I thought like a couple of million at most.
Are they included the director's cut in the original? Probably. Yeah, that's fantastic.
I don't know, but I mean, 19 million. That's insane. I thought maybe like 2-3 million max, because I'm like, it was more like a niche title, right? Like I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it. I mean, it just wasn't my thing.
I don't know. I really liked it. I didn't think I would, bro. But it
Rand really enjoyed it.
Vibe.
I know that he talked about that quite a bit back a couple of years ago. He's talking about how he really enjoyed it, and once you get into it, but he said the magic words, which of course I just can't swallow that. Where he's like, well, it starts getting good about 25 hours in. Get the F out of here, 25 hours in. What do you think I got, like, time, like, just sitting around to waste 25 hours?
No.
Dude, I barely get 25 hours a week into gaming, not even close to that.
No, it's more like you get into a rhythm 20 hours in, but it was pretty good.
That's great.
Go
That's
check
good
it
to
out.
hear.
It's like $20 on Xbox.
Wasn't it on Game Pass for a while, or no?
It was on PC Game Pass.
That's PC Game Pass. Okay. All right.
Elemental Pino, thank you so Elemental Pino.
Hey, I haven't heard his name in a long time.
Yes, thank you for being here. Thank you for the $10 super. Says, so Sony's golden cow is PlayStation. Yes. What happens when the money accounting pours into SIE is just being wasted in the hundreds of millions of dollars? What else gets it? Marketing, it's budget time.
I don't know the inner workings of how they operate. We don't know how they operate. They might have money allocated for losses, money for gains. We don't know how this all works out. When you have a game like Concord that lost $300 million, or lost, let's say, $200 million actually at the end of it. I think it cost $300 million to put together. Let's say they lost $200 million of it. We don't know how that their operating costs, or how they swallow that, or whatever. That doesn't mean that the company is all of a sudden minus $200 million. That's not how it works. Hollywood does the same thing. The budgeting that works out there is not the same. So, like, if Disney puts together $400 million Captain America Brave New World with what's his name there, Falcon, right? And that loses, let's say, $200 million. Disney does not lose $200 million. It's just allocated in a different way, so that what they do is that the profits of the other ones always pay for the other projects in there, and then of course it all gets covered. Then they always stay in the black.
Yeah.
Right? They always stay in the black. So it's always something that, it's not like all of a sudden like, oh crap, Sony's shutting their doors down because Concord was the biggest flop of 2024. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
So
the report last week was like Xbox debunked the whole, we weren't going to shut down. Satya didn't say he was going to shut down gaming. That got debunked. And some of the information in that was that PlayStation.
I didn't listen to any of that shish kebab.
I covered it in my weekly news video, and thank you guys so much for supporting that series. That's really been. That
was another thing. That narrative going around about that, like when that story dropped, they're like, "Oh, did you hear that Satya was going to shut down Xbox back in whatever 2021? Was it 2021? Yeah." And I'm like, I didn't even watch the videos. I watched your video because you're my friend. But everybody else, like all these other people doing podcasts and videos, you guys are just talking out your ass.
Dead.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's why I'm joking.
They don't understand business. They don't understand how it works, and it's just. there obviously there are ways that it comes to when it comes to business, you have to have to do cost cutting. Obviously, you have to have effectiveness in the workforce. And by the way, that's going to tie into the $100 games that we're going to talk about briefly, even if we can get to it. Is just that it all ties into the same thing. I didn't watch any of those videos because I knew it was literally just a waste of time. So all of a sudden, 2 days, 3 days later, when it was debunked, I was just like, yeah, I just saved myself a lot of podcast hours. Listening to nonsense that people don't understand what they're talking about. But anyways, carry on, my friend.
Yeah. And I was going to say that what came out of that was that, and I know it's not profit, but the revenue from last year for PlayStation was $26 billion. And
something like that. Yeah.
Xbox's gaming division had $21 billion.
Now, they're shutting down. Now, that's it. 21 billion.
It's not profit, Mag. Like you were explaining just a minute ago. I know. Like we don't know how much they're actually making. What really, when it comes to the industry, it's not about how they're not worried about losing money. They're worried about how much more they can make. And Nintendo's doing phenomenally well, but they're only at 12 billion compared to PlayStation at 26.
There's also something else. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
12 billion, 21 billion, 26 billion. PlayStation's on top. Xbox is just behind them, and Nintendo's just behind them in revenue. But I would suspect that Nintendo probably makes more profit because they're not as expensive to bring in that revenue.
Sure.
But
they're really also 9 years into a generation, dude.
Yeah, and they're still killing it. And what it really comes down to is they're trying to get as much money as they can for what they're investing into. There's another
thing that doesn't get factored into all of this on the business side of things that a lot of people don't even understand or realize is that when you say, let's say, for example, we're going to pull out Microsoft here because Microsoft has a lot of other facets other than the gaming. Let's just say it's $21 billion. Okay. Like you said, $21 billion. You're like, oh, okay, well, that's not profit. Money has to go there. It has to be allocated here and there. Let's not forget the monstrous overhead of running all those studios. ABK alone would cost hundreds of millions of dollars just to keep the lights on and keep everybody, whoever they don't lay off, they'll keep them employed and everything else. Now, the other thing is too, what they don't factor into that, which goes and basically funnels off into another part of the Microsoft business. A lot of this is tied into the cloud servers, the Azure servers. They make hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars off of those, and that is tied into the Xbox gaming system as well. Because in order to do that, you need those cloud servers in order to operate the system. So therefore, that's another facet that doesn't actually get factored in to their $21 billion that they made last year, or whatever else. And then when there's losses and there's this and that, whatever, some of these things kind of balance out because at the end of the month, you do some creative accounting, you get everything balanced out, and that's just kind of how it works. And everything, like I said, everything shows up in the black, nothing in the red. And that's how they continue to operate. And they need to do that because it actually doesn't have anything to do with gamers. They don't care about gamers. Microsoft doesn't care about gamers. Sony doesn't care about gamers. You know what they care about? They care about the investors. And the thing is, if you show on a quarterly basis that to your investors that everything is always in the black and everything is moving up, then that's all they care about. And they will do so, and they will continue to do so. Sony will look at, I see some people like they pull up a 1 day graph of like the Sony stock, and it goes, you see, Sony's closing down, and you see a red arrow down, and I'm like, guys, it's 1 day. And then all of a sudden you go the next day, they're up 34%. I'm like, just stop. So what that is in the end is that as long as the investors are there and investing into the company and putting more money into there and pumping blood into the system, so to speak, that's all they care about. Yep. So therefore, when if you lose $300 million on Concord, it didn't even make a dent because they still ended up in the black. And then the investors go, perfect, I'm going to buy X amount and keep keep into the system or whatever else. That's all they care about, appeasing the investors.
PlayStation has a different problem right now. It's the reason why the thumbnail and the title are the way they are when Mag talks about that. Because right now, Microsoft can't sell consoles to save their A, right? But they're also selling games. They're making games, they're releasing them, and they've got like the blood pumping and revenue and profit or mixing mashing. So they're moving along. PlayStation's problem is they've canceled so many games that we were trying to explain to you that the generation is moving forward and they're going to have a very light or thin margin of actual games this generation. Maybe I'll dive into this right now, but I got to get back to a couple super chat questions. Let's pretend that PS6 comes out at the end of 2027. Now it's probably 2028, But maybe PlayStation wants to be done with this as soon as possible and get forward and moving with their next generation. But honestly, it's probably 2028 because why? The PlayStation 5 is selling really well. There's no rush.
Well, they also just released a Pro, so I could see that they will run that system for another 4 years. And I think if I heard correctly, they just updated PSSR. It got its first major update. So then, so I would imagine they're going to keep moving with that for another 3 years. But anyways, go on.
You got all 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028. So you have 4 years. My problem is there's a state of play next month for PlayStation. I know they did it with Astrobot, but I can't see them revealing a big, impactful game in early or mid 2025 and saying that game's coming out this year. But they could. No. They did with Astrobot, but they could. So it's possible that from their first party studios, all they have is Ghost of Yotai and Death Stranding 2.
And 2026 with this Phantom Blade, is that coming out this year?
That's not their game. It's just a game that they didn't even they're not even making an Xbox port. I don't even think PlayStation paid for anything on it. Yeah.
But so it's exclusively coming to PlayStation.
It's just exclusively not on Xbox.
Is it coming on PC?
I think so. Yeah. And I'll have to look into that.
The game looked interesting, but it was starting to follow that trend of as soon as Elden Ring did really well, then all of a sudden everybody was making, Souls-like games, and I'm just like, ugh, is this going to be another one down the road like that one that I hated in the summer? What the hell was that one called? The one with the chick. It came out on Game Pass in July. I was really looking forward to that game, and I hated it. Chad, help me out here.
You
remember that one?
Flintlock.
Flintlock. Oh my god.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be good.
I'm looking at this. I look at this Phantom. I would look at this Phantom Blade. I'm like, man, this looks hot. But then I'm like, I'm like, Mag, pump the brakes, buddy, because you've been burned so many times before with all the, the Elden Ring clones that it just doesn't work out. So, but either way, if that's an exclusive to the console, kind of like Helldivers.
Phantom Blade 0 is not being published by PlayStation.
Right.
It's just de facto exclusive. So what I'm getting at is I'll try to do this quickly. And you can help me out, Meg, because I know you know a lot about PlayStation Studios or who they are, but Ghost of Yotai and Death Stranding 2 in 2025 in one smaller game. 2026 is Wolverine, Marathon, Fair Games. Marathon and Fair Games are like, they've got a tough road ahead of them. Dude, I bet they've been right there ready to pull the trigger on that.
My God. I'm actually surprised they didn't announce a cancellation of that, to be quite honest.
And I don't want to say that to sound negative, but
no, just saying.
You can just kind of tell, right? And Marathon may be a huge success, but we'll see. It's also going to be on all platforms, so that'll help it. I don't know what else they have in 2026. Wolverine's big. Does Sony Santa Monica or Naughty Dog have a game in 2026? Is Intergalactic going to be 2026? Maybe not.
The chick with the straw, I would imagine 26, 27.
Yeah. But the thing is, what about their other studios? Like, Polyphony's not making another Gran Turismo game this generation.
No, I don't think so.
What are their other major studios?
Naughty Dog is not going to be to the end of generation. Insomniac's got something else cooking up too, but from what I heard, but I don't really know that much.
And some other smaller game, if anything.
Some other game, yeah. There's some other game that they're working on outside of Wolverine, but I mean, you're not going to see that anytime soon. Like Naughty Dog, I mean, Insomniac has actually been a 1-2 punch for them. You know what it reminds me of? You remember how what's it called? How Playground basically was cranking out Forzas for Xbox, and it's just like in the Xbox One generation, it was just like one after another. It was like, oh my God, Playground is single-handedly just like cranking out titles, big titles for Xbox here. It felt like Insomniac was doing the same thing with like Spider-Man 2, Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank, and then now you got Wolverine coming up. And I probably missed the title in there somewhere. Who knows? But the thing is, if you release 2 a year, Colt,
yeah,
and then you've got exclusive rights to, let's say, 2 or 3 more, you now have a well-rounded out year of like 5 games that you can't get anywhere else. Now, that was something that we talked about. I can't remember who said it in the chat. It was getting an argument about a month ago when someone was yip-yapping about this and that. And then someone in the chat actually said, well, 4 out of the 6 Game of the Year nominations, whether they're first party or not, were only available on one console.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I understand it's not first party, but if you can't get anywhere else, it's exclusive. So in the console space. So if you look at it that way, you're moving product. Like Black Myth Wukong was available on PC, but they sold 11 million copies on not on PlayStation, excuse me. They sold 11 million copies, and they sold millions of PlayStations in China to that. So a lot of people bought it.
Yeah, if you think they're aggressively
they didn't make. I'm just saying, like, this is just like there's a business aspect to this that people are ignoring because everybody's so hyper focused on first party. I'm like, right, I get it, I understand, obviously. But the thing is, if you've got 2 or 3 more that are just exclusive to your console, but you didn't make, they are still exclusive. The only way you can play it is if you buy a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox or a Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever, right? So if you have it just there, then you still have to access that hardware. Not Microsoft's case. I mean, you could do it, through whatever. But the other two, you have to purchase the hardware. So in a way, like I said, it's still exclusive. We're splitting hairs here, but at the end of the day, you still got to buy that hardware in order to play that game that's not available on the other across the pond.
Yeah.
So if they've got 2 games, let's say Ghost of Yotai and Death Stranding 2, and let's say you have whatever, 2 other ones, 3 other ones, that'll skip Xbox. Well, then the only way you could play it that year is through PlayStation.
Yeah, but those games are always on. Those games are always on PC, where PC is,
and that's assuming you got a PC though.
PC is far and away the bigger seller in games than Xbox and PlayStation combined.
Of course,
people always think,
I don't game on PC.
Huh? I know you don't.
Like I don't game on PC. So, for example, like last year, if I wanted to play Stellar Blade, I had to own a PlayStation 5. I mean, I own a PlayStation 5 before, when it came out. But I'm just saying, if I didn't, and I only game on console, and I really wanted to play that, whatever, I would have to get that in order to be able to access that.
Yeah, and there's no PC Final Fantasy yet. If you guys think that PlayStation aggressively money hats games and keeps them off of PlayStation, buckle up for the next year or so, because they're going to have to really rely on money hatting games that they didn't make and to fill out this, because they are in a massive hole. I put at the top of the chat a reminder that we're going to cover the rest of the PlayStation roadmap. We might be almost done with that, but also, if you can help get the likes up to 500, I'm going to give away 3 Indiana Jones coins from Xbox fan art. Hold on a second. Let me go to this feed here. And I know it probably won't.
Listen, man, I got 3 screens going at once, and guess what? I'm on the show, and I even hit the like button. Okay, I'm even on the show. Look, I'm gonna do it right now, right in front of everybody's face, on my cell phone. Look, this is how easy it is, folks. You do that. There you go. I just pressed the button. Yep. Okay, I just pressed the button. There it goes. There's the like.
This coin's
How hard
awesome.
was that?
This coin is awesome.
Coin. So talk about the coin. Let's see the coin, dude.
You guys are gonna have to spam the like button there and make sure we get up there so I can give out 3 of those coins. We appreciate all of you. I'm gonna get to these chats here.
All right.
Illuminati 85. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Says, Mag, who's better, Harvey's or A&W?
Oh, A&W. Harvey's is ass. Yeah, carry on, Colt.
Carry on. Those burgers are surprisingly good, and they don't really do anything.
I don't know. They've never done anything. Even when I was a kid, I didn't even like Harvey's. My mom took us there. I'd be like, Mom, I don't eat much fast food anymore, but maybe like once every 6 months, I might eat fast food, like a McDonald's. Actually, I haven't had McDonald's in probably 2 years. But Wendy's. The only problem with Wendy's is that there's enough sodium to kill a warhorse in like one of their burgers.
Ache. Nothing will make it come out like oxtail soup than having a Wendy's value meal.
Dude, but they're so delicious. Like a Baconator is so good. It might be one of the best fast food. Oh, it might be one of the best fast food burgers ever. However, it's also double the sodium intake of a male aged 18 to 45. Holy crap, dude! That's just the burger.
I have not had a single cheeseburger, hamburger in 5 months. Since I started my diet, I've tried to stay away from them because I feel like it's just the bun that's bad. But I feel like it'll just take me down the wrong road, and I have enough hard.
I've had one burger since August.
Burgers are my favorite thing. I've told you guys on the show, if I had a choice between the best slice of pizza or the best slices of pizza or a hamburger, I'd always pick the hamburger.
Pizza and burgers are my weakness, absolutely. But I don't eat it very often and in the wintertime here in Canada, it's not like we're going outside -10, -25, and we're sitting there at the
trying
grill.
To flip it, it's frozen in the grill.
Yeah, you're not barbecuing -25. I mean, some people do. I don't waste my time out there. So, and I don't like pan searing burgers. Oh my god, there's something just not good about it. Burgers need to be grilled.
They need to breathe while they're doing their thing. Udana Kizada, thank you so much for the chat. Says 5 years a member, 5 more years, 5 more years. I want to thank God for letting me live these years. after a terrible diet of gummy bears and energy drinks. Bro, keep that up. It's keeping you alive.
Energy drinks, 4xpgaming.com, ladies and gentlemen. Head over to the website right now. Go get your Ultra Nightmare. Go get your Grave Walker. Yes.
Yeah, your gaming drink. Nerds and Other Legends, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Says, despite my old gamer criticism of the Xbox strategy, I have to admit, there are better positions to weather whatever the industry throws at them. I respect the sight beyond sight. Hashtag Thundercats.
That's why. Thundercats. Oh, yeah, sight beyond sight, right? Lion-O, yeah. Remember the sword?
Far be it from me.
He used to put the sword up, and then the thing would go around. I mean, I wasn't a huge, ho!
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, nerds,
if you're still here, I could check to see if you are, but if you're still here, like I said, you won the Grave Walker tub. Reach out to 4XP on their socials. Go follow them on Instagram or Twitter and go check out the website. Dude. What's that?
Congratulations.
Congratulations. What's that promo code again? It's on the screen.
Well, there's 4xpgaming.com, and the promo was XNC was it /20?
No, just XNC 2025. It's on the screen.
Oh, XNC 2025. Sorry, my bad.
We're like, what does it
We're
say?
so old. We already forgot what I said 10 minutes ago. Yeah.
Illuminati 85 with the $2 super chat says, the mystery game Lost Odyssey or Bushido Blade? No, it's not.
Neither one.
But thank you for playing.
But you know what? Bushido Blade was a lot of fun back in the day. I really enjoyed that game. So
I need to play it. Hey, if you just want
to, it's a lot of fun.
Go check out the games that I've been playing somewhere, and you might get a hint into what it'll be.
Yeah. Well, that's not really true, Colt, because all you play is Mass Effect, for crying out loud.
Hey, those other games I played, and if you also want to know what's coming this year, watch what Phil Spencer plays. He's been playing something. It's like, well, that's a dead giveaway. Element Appeal with a $5 super chat says, I feel like the PS4 Pro didn't get a fair shot. I think it could have pushed the gen further. Xbox needed to move on to Series. So many PS4 owners not moving. I think he means not a lot of people leaving the Xbox One or PS4 gen. What were you going to say?
I think the reason why they moved on the PS5 faster than they wanted to, and I know that they did move faster, is because of that surprise kick in the nuts that Phil Spencer did in 2019 at the Game Awards show, where Sony was apparently so taken aback by it, they had emergency meetings that very night.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You remember when he came out and he's like, and here's the Series X, and here's a shot of Hellblade 2 running on Xbox Series X, and everybody was like, on the what? And like, it was like, is this a new console?
I was like, yeah.
Dude, it was like, yeah. So apparently that was the, and of course that wasn't Phil's idea. That was some woman that worked in the thing. She said, why don't you just? I can't remember who it was.
Let's be bold. So she said, and then now she doesn't work there.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's Microsoft's mistake.
She probably does, but I'm just making a joke. They haven't been bold since, right?
Yeah, they have not been bold since. But you know what? They're very.
Let's be bold. And they're like.
They threw out the window. These companies are very risk averse, right? It's just like they're always afraid to do something bold, whatever. But anyways, that is why the PS5 came out at the same time as the Series X and S, is because Phil came out there and shocked the world with the reveal of the Series X.
Yeah.
Right? So they had no choice. They felt they had no choice. They're like, we can't run this generation a year longer and let Xbox get the jump on the generation. And then, of course, let's also not forget, then the pandemic happened like 3 months later, 4 months later.
Gosh, it was.
And then that messed everything up. So they had made all the announcements, done everything, they fast-tracked everything, and then all of a sudden the world shut down. So it was a very, very weird time for everybody.
It was weird because Doom Eternal came out right at the time of the global shutdown, and I was just in a daze. Indulge me for a moment.
Yeah. What's up?
Around Christmas time, before the pandemic started. So Christmas time, right before Christmas, we got the reveal of the Series X and Hellblade.
Yes.
We knew what it looked like, and I was making videos, and I get this call from work. And my boss says, the big boss wants you to come in on Thursday and talk to him at 9 a.m. And I'm like, but that's my work. Back then I worked from home one day. The last day of my work week was on a Thursday. And I'm like, I have to come in and meet with him on my normal work from home day. And they're like, yeah, and then you can just go back home and finish your work. And I'm like, I got really super nervous. I thought, what did I do?
Yeah,
what happened? I couldn't sleep. I was like in bed like this. And like I'd had
fired that day, folks.
Bro, it was so bad. I got 3 kids. I got a dog. I've got a family. I've got an Xbox One X. Yeah, it was crazy. But take yourself back to that time. I couldn't sleep. I thought it's over. What did I do? And I went in the morning and my boss said, we want you to work for another one of our offices. You're going to be doing something totally different. We're gonna have to train you. And you guys don't really know, like my job, I use graphic design and communications and marketing stuff at my job. So I create stuff with Photoshop, Illustrator, I do video production, stuff like that. Not much video production on this much anymore. But anyway, I do a lot of stuff that's like kind of, why can I do this stuff? I'll get to the point. They said, we want to put you in this other office where you're going to be doing like this bureaucratic work. And I was like, oh yeah. I mean, cause I'm like, I didn't say, but I'm not getting fired. Yeah, I'll do whatever you want. So they moved me to this other office and I was leaving the thing I absolutely loved. And I get over there and I'm like a month or 2 into it and the world just shut down. And I was like, I was bowled over in the beginning of 2020. The Series X was announced. I hadn't started. XC was nothing. I hadn't even started yet, but it was a crazy time.
Started it yet. Yeah.
It was a crazy time to think about. So I was a couple months into this new job trying to acclimate, and then we get this email like, we don't know what's going on, but if you work from home, just stay home. And I've been home ever since. And I want to say shout out to Donut with his super chat. It says $5 super chat, says, thanks for making traffic knocks suck on Mondays. Keep doing what you're doing. It's appreciated. Donut, I hope you're still here. This was 30 minutes ago when you sent this super chat, and I'm sorry.
I'm sure he's still here.
We appreciate you so much, and so glad that you have a job that you're driving home from. I'm so grateful to all of you, and Meg. It's been a whirlwind, and to think we sit here sometimes and gripe about the state of the industry or who's thriving and who's not, but in the end, it's impossible odds that the games industry keeps cranking out awesome games. People are spending. Studios are able to survive because so many have shut down. It's crazy.
The thing is, we get, especially like us, the chat, social media, people hyper focus on because the news cycle is now 24 hours a day. And that is, that started with CNN back in the day in the 90s. And now it's kind of permeated into the internet world, into social media. And so you hear that if some guy at Naughty Dog farts wrong, and you know what I mean? Like everybody in the world knows about it, right? Whereas in the past, most of this was a mystery, unless you were involved in the industry directly, right? And you just had to sort of speculate and guess. But the problem is now everybody's on social media, so everybody knows what everybody's doing. So what we're seeing is that, Sony closed this. Xbox closed that. Microsoft laid off these people. Sony shut down this live service game, this and that, and everybody thinks it's the end of the world. And I'm here to tell you that it's not the end of the world for anybody, for any of these companies or anything else. None of them are going to falter. None of them are going to fail. Some will do better, obviously, different varying degrees of success, but no one's going anywhere. But obviously the problem is now you see everything that happens. For example, another example, this is something that a lot of people outside of the developer world have no idea, or even in the Hollywood world. 90% of what's pitched and what's started gets shut down. 5 to 10% of projects actually make it to the development phase. So every time you hear Sony shuts this down, Xbox shuts this down, everybody thinks that they were like 1 day from release. Guys, that's not how this works. 95% to 90% of these games and projects never even make it to the development stage. Okay? So we like that's why everybody needs to calm down, relax. Your digital libraries on Microsoft are not going anywhere. If they have if they have Sony's outselling them 5-1 in the consoles, doesn't mean your digital library's going away. It's not going anywhere. Colt just told you 25 minutes ago, 27 billion to 21 billion. Does that sound like they're shutting down? No.
It's near impossible.
And they're only going to make more.
The concern, I won't get into it. The concern is that Xbox will stop getting ports, but that's such an outlying thing that just seems to be a problem with. It's a problem with really small studios or There's like this one stubborn studio that made Quantum Error one of the lowest rated games of the entire generation of this generation. Quantum Error like only went on the PS5. They were console warring as a studio and saying the power of the SSD. Their game got a 40 out of 100. Now they're bragging about making a Dino Crisis spiritual successor game that won't even go on PC because they said, quote, we don't want PC players modding and making this game inappropriate out of respect to the voice actors and actresses in our game. And everyone's like, forehead smack.
Whatever.
These are outliers. These are
but like, is Rockstar going to stop putting their games on Xbox? No.
Never.
Is Capcom going to stop putting their games on Xbox? No. Those are the games that matter. Okay, those are the games that matter because those are the big studios that have the big games that sell a lot of sell a lot of copies, whatever else.
I also think
an Xbox. Sorry, go ahead.
No, finish what you were saying. I'm listening.
I was going to say, and the other thing is too, as we talked about in the beginning of the show, Xbox is going in their own direction. They are a third-party publisher, and at the same time, they've got 36 studios cranking out games for their ecosystem as well, right? So they're going to be making even more. Like you look at a $21 billion this year, probably be like 24, 25 billion next year as they start to branch out further and further into the publishing world, right? And then get more games out there to other things. Where, you know, like you get those Gears E days and the Halos and all them going to PlayStation and going to Nintendo. Not all of them, but some of them are going to Nintendo Switch too. There's a bunch of titles already in development for that, and so they're going to be making even more money. So the thing is, at the end of the day, don't worry about their money. Don't worry about where they're going. They ain't going nowhere. Everybody's going to still be around. They're all going to be there. It's up to you what you decide where you want to play. If you can't afford everything, then you make your choice and you'll still be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? So like at the end of this is all just nonsense. It's just, and like I said, all you're doing is that people are seeing too far into the looking glass where as a customer, you shouldn't even be seeing any of this stuff. But the problem is social media has ruined it for everybody, my personal opinion.
It's our growing pains.
Well, the customer should only see 5% of what's going on. They shouldn't see how every sausage is made. And when you do that, they're making rash, uninformed, unintelligent, not decisions, I would say the conclusions as to what's happening in a business. They have no idea how it runs. And so that's when all these big stupid titles come out about this and that, whatever. And I'm looking at them going, oh my God, like I'm like literally nobody knows what they're talking about. And so they should calm down. Calm down and enjoy yourself.
Somebody told me, Xbox is going to put all their games on PlayStation, and they said, what are they going to do for me? And I'm like, but wait, you're still getting the games.
You're still getting all the games.
But they said, I'm afraid that Xbox will just put all their games on PlayStation and other platforms, and they won't do anything for me. And I'm like, you mean
what?
They said that
you're getting them on Game Pass.
I know it's just a random person, and you shouldn't take credence on what one person says, but I do feel like this attitude spills out to more people where they said that Xbox has sold themselves to become the biggest game publishing platform. They'll be the biggest. They'll be rivaling Tencent. They'll be the biggest, most successful platform that makes games. But the sacrifice will be that they won't make anything especially for him or something great for him. And I'm like,
if you have Game Pass, isn't that your gift?
Actually, your gift as an Xbox fan is you have the choice to buy it.
Gift, but you know what I mean.
No, I agree with you. I think that was a good statement.
Like,
your gift is that you get to play it on your preferred console, which is Xbox.
Right.
Or you get to play the game far cheaper for Game Pass if you want to, and enjoy all the perks that come with Game Pass. People always forget there's all kinds of freebies that come with Game Pass. There's discounts that come with it. Or the other perk is that if you decided, let's see how this PC thing is, you'll get the game better than anyone because you decided to play it on PC. Or you can play it on PlayStation. But
like for example, I've got a situation. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Last thing I'll say is the idea that Xbox is not giving me the ability to say this is mine and no one else can have it is a reality.
What does that affect people though? I don't understand it. Like if you've
got access,
I got this console right here and I got Game Pass, then I should have. You know what I mean? Like I got the console right here.
Games. I just want lots and lots of great games, and I didn't get them last generation for the most part because PlayStation or Xbox had like 4 studios. They had a Halo, Gears, and 2 Forza studios. That was pretty much all they had, and their Fable studio was fumbling left and right. I want lots of games. I'm sorry, I don't want to get. I know people think of it. I'm tired of talking about the multi-platform thing. I'm trying to explain to you, such great things are coming. And I care more about the games than anything else. Graham Man with the $2 super chat says, can't wait for Intergalactic, the heroin prophet. A hero that is a female is called a heroine. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah,
that
anyway,
is true.
Game Seeker, thank you so much for the Canadian $5 super chat. Says, Mag is right. Facebook Marketplace, I was able to get a Series S and a PS5 still in the box for $500 for both of them. Keep an eye out there, he says. Love it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to go do that, go like, you know what I mean? You can't say at this point it's not accessible. If you're selling vault editions of Call of Duty for $135, but you could buy a console for $200 on Facebook Marketplace from a guy that lives one street over from you. Like, what are we talking about here?
Hey,
you know
Magnum,
I mean?
yes. Oh my gosh, you say this every week. Yeah, for a year. Yeah, for a year now it's been. But remember, there are new people every week that come into the show, and
yes, there are.
That argument every week. Every week people say the same dumb things. But we love you. Love you all. Pat Rock, thank you so much for the $5 super, says, can you see a situation where Xbox has to delay an Xbox release due to optimization, so they ship it on PC and PlayStation first, with the Xbox version coming later? Their own game? No. But
hey, by the way, speaking of which, people are asking in the chat about this Avowed situation. What the hell's going on there? I didn't hear anything about it.
I'll get to that next. Pat Rock, what you're talking about is, this pisses me off, but Xbox does this. They release a game on PC first, and then they put the console version later, because RTSs or something like, they didn't do it this time with the new Flight Sim, but mostly it's the RTS games. I don't know why. Probably because the interface and controller situation with RTSs, but Gears Tactics, the Ara History Untold, and maybe one other game that was an RTS. I think the other ones came, but yeah, they put these games on PC first, and then they're like 6 months to a year later, they put them out on Xbox. But I do not see a day ever that a PS5 version comes out before Xbox. No, I don't think it. Let me see. I think I only have a couple here, and we're going to get to Avowed, because I think if we talk any more about the roadmap for PlayStation, people will just fold in half and die. It'll be great.
What's up, Nuke?
What's up, Noof? Grandpa's Barbecue Game.
Did I say Nuke? Sorry, Noof. My God.
Oh, I knew what you said. You meant.
Yeah. No, I think I said Nuke by accident. Yeah.
Noofum. If Red Wolf was here, he'd love that flub. Grandpa's Barbecue Game Cat, thank you, says, apparently Sony have just moved to stage with their PS6, where the hardware normally ships 2 years later, so 2027 could be right. It could. We don't know, but we'll find out. It's still a ways away. BT Maverick, Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. We appreciate you guys, your support. You're amazing. Thank you so much. He says, Mag, I want to make a bet that Nintendo won't pass Xbox in revenue, even with the new console. I'll bet you any game, a $70 or $200 Canadian,
probably,
on your PS Plus.
No, he's probably right.
Years it will take never for them to take it in revenue. Remember, I said
he's probably right, because, like I said, Microsoft is releasing games on Xbox, they're releasing games on PlayStation, and they're a third-party publisher. They're getting money from all these different facets, where Nintendo's getting it from one. So I'm not going to take that bet for you. Microsoft is going to make more money than Nintendo, even if they sell like 40 million copies of whatever Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever they release. I think someone released like a tentative list of games that are coming out for the Switch too. They're still going to do incredibly well, but they're not going to beat out Microsoft in terms of in terms of all the money that that Xbox is making. Because, like I said, a lot of that is not only just from their own, in-house money or whatever. A lot, you got the publishing side of it too, right? Yeah. Call of Duty alone. Yeah. Just like I said earlier in the show, if 85% of the sales of Call of Duty were on PlayStation, Microsoft made 70% of every single one of those sales for nothing. Essentially, they're just getting all this money funneled to them just from that alone, right? Who knows how many billions of dollars you're talking about? So no, I would not take that bet. I ain't that stupid.
Speaking of PlayStation, can I ask you for a quick answer, a real brief answer on this?
Sure.
Knowing that the Nintendo Switch 2 reveals hasn't been as exciting as the first one, do you think that the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be a really big success, or do you think it's going to be pulled back a little bit?
It's interesting. Guess? I think a lot of it is hinging on the price and the power of this thing.
What's the price? What's your best guess?
Well, on the price? I'm thinking $5.99 Canadian, $4.99 American, so maybe $500. $4.99 American, $5.99 Canadian. So I think somewhere around there. That's a reasonable price. I think that works. Anything higher than that, you're going to have because let's face it, a lot. I know there's a lot of Nintendo dorks out there, or whatever else, who are adults and everything else who have expendable money. But there's a lot of people out there, who will rely on their parents to purchase these things. I'm not buying my son a $700 or $1,000 Steam Deck. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that, right? And parents will balk at a $600 or $700 console for their kids
in Canada. Yeah.
For their kids, right? They're not going to do that. So it all depends on that. But the thing is, what we saw was not really a reveal. What we saw was Nintendo just trying to get ahead because the thing was leaking worse than a boat. Than when a boat that's been shot up by a machine gun. The thing had more holes leaking in it.
Jenny?
Yeah, they had to do something. They had to do something, man. So they had to they had to basically get in front of this thing as quickly as possible because the leaks were coming out every few hours. So they're like, "Oh, we got to get ahead of this now."
Yeah, and they were even late on the leaks, but yeah, I think we both think it'll do really, really well. But I just wonder how much that kind of fizzled out. We will have a beer one day. It's just a bigger, more powerful Switch, which is probably a good thing. But
sorry, go ahead.
I'll just say that the Switch 2 is going to be a nice shot in the arm for the industry. It'll be a nice big boost all around for everybody. And a lot of publishers, like you said about 30 minutes ago, there's a lot of multi-platform publishers that haven't been on Nintendo who are ready this time because the capability. So,
right.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, like I told you before, I know numerous studios in the Microsoft camp who've had the Switch 2 development kits for quite some time now, who've been working on it and working with it, right? So they're going to be porting a whole lot of stuff over there. Now, how that translates, I don't know, because I mean, if you release Outer Worlds 1 on the Nintendo Switch 2, I don't know what kind of sales you're going to pull off. But I mean, you'd have to have bigger things like your Call of Duties, which I heard is going to be there.
Yep.
You're going to get your Halos over there, things like that. I could see that. Now it's not that I could see that. Those things are going over there. Excuse me. My apologies. But I don't know. We're gonna have to find out. Wait, someone in the chat said that my audio mix doesn't sound great this week and last week. I don't know what that's all about. That's
you sound the same to me, but it could be.
I know that it sounds muted when it replays on YouTube because it goes through Discord, and Discord kind of screws the guest on it. So my audio sounds muted. But from this end, I sound like Pavarotti right now. It's like so loud and clear on my end. But the problem is when it gets funneled through the Discord, it ends up softening the sound a little bit, unfortunately. Yeah. I'm actually going to look into the XL. What are they called? The XLR microphones. I'm going to see if that could actually push through Discord even better for my videos.
Yeah.
So I'm going to find out.
Yeah, it has a limited bandwidth for
audio, limited bandwidth. Yeah.
I was going to say on the Nintendo Switch, this actually kind of exposes people's their perception of exclusivity. If games start coming to PlayStation or if games come to the Switch. There's a lot of Xbox fans who are like, I guess I don't really mind if a game goes to the Switch because, they don't think of it as a direct competitor. What we really should be doing is thinking if a bunch of games go to the Switch,
right?
Like, let's say you're really looking forward to the next BioShock game because you're a fan of the franchise and you don't want that franchise to go away. And they sell it on the Nintendo Switch and everything else. And the Switch kind of helped it sell well enough where they're like, okay, the franchise is good. And it really could be a reality where a franchise does really well on all of the platforms because it's available more places now. And it means you get your favorite games that get to survive a lot longer. And I want you guys to think of things that way. If a game is successful because it's sold enough across all places, that means like Dragon Age Veilguard was sold so poorly across everything. We'll never see another Dragon Age again. I don't think we ever will. Even if we did, it'd be in 10 years, but I don't think we're going to. Let me move to Graham Man with the $2 says, Mag, this is $2 to make you drop it low.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, baby.
I'm not a cheap dollar whore. You got to pay me more than that to drop it low. Jeez.
Yeah, send in $3.
I'm expensive, man. Ask my wife. I'm the prima donna in this house.
You need to roll into Ecstasy next week with a bunch of $1 bills in your waist. Well, what do they call $1 over there in Canada?
Well, we don't do them anymore. We got rid of them. We got there used to be $1 and $2 bills. They're gone now. So we have loonies and toonies, which no one uses. They're coins. So there's dollar coins and $2 coins. Oh, but I mean, nobody uses money anyway.
Yeah,
who the hell uses money?
I
haven't used money in 20 years.
I was telling my kid, like when I was in high school or just after high school, this was a thing. Man, I hope they take debit. You'd walk in because I didn't always have cash. Man, I hope they take debit. Like that was a thing.
Even the prostitutes have swipe now. You know, and if you go to the strip clubs, you could just tap. Yeah, you could just tap this. You just pull your credit card, just right, doop, approved. That's it. You just
that's me.
That's it, man. There's
like
no
the
cash.
store going.
What am I going to make them rain with? My one credit card. I go up to the stage and go like this, bink, and then it just goes ding, 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 and lands on the.
At least you don't go. Yeah,
like that's yeah, exactly. Yeah, what the hell are we talking about here? There's no cash anymore. Anyways, yeah, we don't have dollars and $2 bills. Were gone. They were abolished about 2 decades ago.
That's weird. They talked about getting rid of the penny and the 1 cent coin in the United States. Like they smell like they're horrible. Nikki Z, thank you for the $5 super chat. Put that in the timestamps. Nikki Z, thank you for the 5. Says, do you guys think we'll see an update for Starfield soon? Been a lot of activity on the Steam database. I don't know, but I kind of gave up on the game after 400 hours. I'm like, I need a break. But
there's stuff. They're prepping to move it. They're prepping to move the game elsewhere, right? So we know about that. We just don't know when and exactly how. It was delayed from when we first talked about it, just like the Forza Horizon situation. That got slightly delayed. And then of course the Master Chief Collection moving over to PlayStation and Switch, which we reported a year ago before everybody else. I just like the point. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, those things, they're all being juggled right now because they want to have a little bit of time to shine so that they do well. So the last thing you want to do is release like, you know, the Master Chief Collection the same week that Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out. You're not going to sell anything. You know what I mean? You want to do it at a time of the year, maybe like anyway, I'm not going to talk about the release dates of that stuff because they've been moved around and there's no point because you know what's going to happen. They're going to move it again and say, oh, you know what, internally we decided to shift it over another 6 months. Then people are going to come after me going, you lied to us. So I'm not going to say anything about the dates.
Keep in mind those ports.
Starfield is going to be doing its thing.
Okay.
Sorry,
keep in mind if those ports will also bring performance or slight updates or improvements to those games.
They will. They've been working on Starfield, Colt. You know that, and I know that.
Yeah,
they've been working on that too.
They need to work on Elder Scrolls 6. That's what they need to do.
Well, they're doing that too, but I'm saying they have a team that's. Listen, we're not going to talk about this.
Okay.
Let's
we'll
not get in trouble.
Another show. Nerds.
No, I just don't want to talk about it because they're gonna give me crap for it.
Okay.
Like, stop talking about it. We didn't say to talk about it. I'm like, okay, sorry, dude.
Oh,
I got crap for making that video last week about. Never mind, I can't say. Go to my channel,
Go to the Mag show and hear what got it.
Yeah, and I got crap from someone at Microsoft for doing it. So they reached out because obviously I struck a nerve.
Oh, I got yelled at by somebody who's talking to someone who might know something about something, and he's like, "Can I call you?" And he knows who it is, and I'm like, "I'll delete the tweet because it's too far disconnected from." Yeah, it's just. Well,
I'm not pulling out my video, but I mean, I had like 500 something people watch the video, so it wasn't like a monster video. I'm obviously not you. I mean, I just crossed 509, I think, 509 subs, which is great. I'm happy about that. But like, it's just, I had like 500 something views on that video, so I wasn't like worried, like, oh my God, the whole world just heard about what I just said. Mm-hmm. So, but I still got that call, and they're like, hey, with a big smile, can you shut the F up? I was like, oh, sorry. Geez, I thought this was like information. We're like, it kind of isn't. So can you shut up? I was like, oh, okay, sorry, Mr. Microsoft. My apologies.
Jordan Garreau in the chat says, Colt spending his time on the 1,000 barren planets. Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, what I like doing is going to the Goldilocks planets. I go to all these systems. And
how was the porridge?
I find a Goldilocks planet that has water or has vegetation, and I land there and like check out the stuff, and then I go to like the big outposts and see what's there, and then sometimes I just play that game just to look at the sights. But then after a while, you can only do that so much.
Was the porridge too hot or too cold, or was it just right?
Just
okay. I just want to make sure. Like,
it's always just right, and not every Goldilocks
just
planet is breathable too. That sucks. Where was I? Nerds and Other Legends, thank you so much for another $10 super chat. Like,
jeez, guy's on fire tonight.
Yeah, he says, as older gamers in an echo chamber, it's hard for us to accept or understand the new generation. He says, but the reality is they don't care about exclusivity, single player, or even identifying as a gamer. The reality is they don't care about exclusivity. They meaning the people who make the games.
Not really, no.
Single player, even not. Well, yeah, I mean, you might be saying that the devs don't care about exclusivity. They just want their game popular with everybody.
They want, listen, their jobs are on the line most of the time.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, even if a project doesn't do well, then, their head could be, I'm not saying it will be, but it could be on the chopping block as a result.
Yeah.
Right. Who the hell wants that?
They pitch
everything
these games too. They pitch
based.
them and say, "Hey, this is what we want to make. It's a game set in this world. You're going to be able to do this. It's going to have this feature or this online component." And then the platform says, "Okay, here's your money. Go make the game." And then the next time, if it doesn't fit, if it doesn't work, it's hard to pitch the next game. And I think that's where PlayStation is right now. And Xbox has gone through it.
Nerds and Other Legends just said, he clarified in the chat here. He says, they as in the new generation of gamer. So I think he was just clarifying his super chat.
Thank you. I went on all that for nothing. Yeah, he's so right. My kids, you're talking about kids who are in high school or just out of high school that play games. I don't normally see them arguing about what game is exclusive or not. He's also right. They don't care about single player games. I've said this before. I'll show my kids here's the Game Award release trailers. Like, what do you think about this huge, awesome open world? And my son will be like, I don't know. It's like, what do I get to do? I want to create, I want to craft, I want to build, I want to live, I want to interact with my friends. And they don't see that in some of the games that we think are fantastic. So thanks for that chat, Nerds and Other Legends. And thank you.
Zodrodo, you're not wrong there.
What was the name?
Just saying something about the greed. Zodrodo.
Oh, I
think that's how you say it. Yeah. He was talking about how the greed comes from above. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're absolutely not wrong. I mean, that's where it comes from because their jobs are on the line based on performance, right? Financial performance. So they look at that as well. So you can look at some of it as greed because a lot of them are even looking at it as a stepping stone onto the next thing. And they're like, oh, I'm going to get promoted to regional manager of Naughty Dog Studios or Ubisoft International or this and that, whatever, right? So they look at those things for their own personal gains. But you're right. But a lot of times, like I said, their jobs are on the line based on financial performance. Like the people that I work with directly, a lot of them, their jobs are directly tied in to financial performance, and I've seen people get fired right in front of my face because they didn't meet numbers.
I think the greed stops at the studio lead or manager level, right? The greed's all way up there. The people that are directing the creative direction and making the games, obviously, they just want to create something that everybody talks about, and of course, sell tons of games and make that money. But I don't know. Pat Rock, thank you so much for the 5. Says Nintendo's first party has proven to eat up third-party revenue on the platform. The numbers are out there. Their first party, they sell so many more games.
They do sell a lot of games, but I still think with the publishing, the new publishing arm of Microsoft, I think that they're still going to outsell. They're still going to out revenue them. That's just my call because of the third party publishing. If Microsoft or Xbox wasn't doing that third party publishing, that will be happening, then I would say Nintendo takes the cake this year.
Yeah,
but I'm just putting that one thing in there. Just saying that, I still think Microsoft will outperform them financially because of the third party publishing on top of what they're doing in the ecosystem.
I think that
just a bet.
I think that Nintendo could do extremely well or exceedingly well.
They're going to do extremely well.
If PlayStation puts a few or several games on Nintendo Switch, people might be like, you can get everything on the Nintendo. And I've said that since I think since the Wii era, I've said that publicly many times on forums that if every game came to the Nintendo, because there aren't that many exclusives on PlayStation, Xbox in the grand scheme. If all the multiplats came into Nintendo console, people are like, I just need this and I'm good. And if it was powerful enough, but I got to talk about the Avowed Delay because we're way into the show.
All right.
Okay. Do you know how long ago that was? Okay, we're back and I'm going to backtrack. I think the last thing I was saying, sorry about that. That's weird. The last thing I was saying was that there was internal problems with Avowed, that maybe it was delaying. Yeah, so Miles, Ian Chong, and Grums were talking on social media that they think it's possible that this thing's being delayed. But I put out a tweet saying, breaking, the game's being delayed according to these two clowns. I didn't say clowns, but I said that day, Obsidian Entertainment said we are 1 month from launch. Now, if you were going to delay the game, your community... All right, I'm back. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can get Mag back in here. Oh my gosh. I had to completely power cycle everything. There we go.
That's nuts. Yeah, let's do me an outro. I gotta make a call. I gotta make a couple calls before I go to bed. So I'll do an outro, and then if you want to wrap up your supers,
I'll cover Avowed and the supers. But Meg, thank you so much for being on the show. I'll go solo on the rest of it. Thank you so much. Where can people find you and all that stuff?
Are we back?
We're back. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. But it wasn't me, you scumbags. I see some people that are like Mag Reload. I was sitting here alone, and I'm like, where did Colt go? So I'm literally sitting in the lobby here, and I'm just by myself, and I'm like, hello?
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, I do have to get running, but Colt's going to wrap up some super chats and just finish up the Avowed topic. But anyways, you can find me at The Mag Show. You can see my videos there. I'm doing live streaming during the week. I'm releasing at least one video a week of actual video content. My last one, as I mentioned before, I'm doing video games, movies, and television because that's I won't say more. I do all that kind of stuff, and you can find me there. I did a breakdown. My last video, I did a breakdown of Daredevil Born Again trailer. I broke down the trailer for everybody. A lot of people enjoyed it. Got a lot of great feedback. I did some other ones about what's coming up at the Xbox Developer Direct. And then of course I live stream with my son. I live stream with my wife. Two very funny shows. I got Mag and the Wolfman with my son, and of course the new fan favorite, ladies and gentlemen, is Till Death Do Us Part. That's the show that I do with my wife, and we have a blast doing it. And I even had other prominent YouTubers reach out to me and saying, dude, that was absolutely hilarious. Keep it up. Awesome. Keep it going. So I will be doing a lot more of that. You can see, like I said, on the Mag Show, you'll find me there. Anyways, everybody enjoy the Developer Direct, which is on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. So everybody enjoy. Have a great week. Have a great time. See you in the chat on my show. Check out Colt's videos. He's doing incredibly well, and he's got a lot of traffic these days. Let's keep it up. Let's keep the positivity there. Keep it gaming. Enjoy the games and enjoy everything that's going on. We'll see you all next week. Have a great night.
All right. Thank you, Meg. All right. There we go. Okay. Yeah, crazy. I don't know. I think that last one was my internet because it completely died. But so I'll tell you about what's going on with Avowed is that it's not being delayed. It came back onto the Steam library. Those two guys were just speculating, like they're really literally willing a game like Avowed to be delayed. And I know people have their opinion about Avowed, that it's that it's not going to sell a lot. I don't expect Avowed to be a big seller. It doesn't look like a game that's going to be a blockbuster seller, and I'm really looking forward to playing it. So yeah, at this point, what I was saying right when the internet went down was that the evening that Grums and Miles Chong were saying that the game was going to be delayed, Stein, the Xbox community manager said, 1 more month. Obsidian said it that morning, and then Aaron Greenberg the next morning was like 1 more month to Avowed. So yeah, it was. It's just maybe it's a little bit of Xbox tax where people want them to go away, like they're literally willing it. Paul Tassi quote tweeted me and said, "No way in heck that Avowed is being delayed." So I thought at this point, wouldn't it be great to make it public and then those guys get proven wrong? But they were just speculating. But it's just like one of those things where they're like, "Oh, Avowed, it's got these problems," but I don't know. Avowed may be one of those games that I'm excited to play, and I don't know how well it's going to do, but we'll see. KJ Ward says, "What's up, guys? Thank you for the chat." Suicide King, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. That's a huge one. Thank you so much for everything. Suicide King has been with this channel forever, since 2017. I made his profile picture. Oh, it's one of my favorites. I'm looking at it right now. It's great. He said, "Can you make a Skull King putting his like from the face cards, putting a sword through his skull?" I love it. It's a great one. Anyway, he says, "I think that after Xbox explains their new strategy of releasing everything, no matter how scared, on PlayStation, they can change only 2 games. They could change to only 2 games per year on PlayStation, because now Sony gets all these great looking Xbox games, and everything PlayStation money had to release is just extra." Unfortunately, Suicide King, Xbox won't change their frequency of games that come to PlayStation. Once they start putting them on there, they'll never backtrack on that. They'll just continue to do it because the reality of the future of Xbox is they'll make a ton of money on their Xbox console, on Game Pass, and selling games on Nintendo and PlayStation. That's the new reality, and that's where they're going to make a crap ton of money. And hopefully that folds into us continuing to get great deals and great value. I hope. I really hope. Because if they don't, F them. So Grandman, thanks for another $2. Says, shout out Colin, Bruv Nation. Bruv Nation. Yeah, well, I should get him. He should show up in the chat sometime and say hi to everybody. People are loving him. Nikki Z, thank you so much for another super at $5. Says, I hope Starfield comes to PS5. I'm 750 hours in and loving it. All the blind hate needs to stop. I as a purveyor, longtime purveyor, 400 plus hours of Starfield. I understand why people say it's boring and dull because it's not super explosive the way Fallout is, but the game is just a whole vibe. And it could do so much more. Like if they ever made a sequel, they probably won't. You can really see where it needs to go. Thank you, Nikki Z, for that. Purple Haze with the $10 super chat. Thank you for this one. Purple Haze says, Xbox say they lost the console war. Okay, fine. If you make an Xbox that could play any game, which means put it on a Steam Deck or Epic Game Store on there, then that is the console war is over. But will they do it? Xbox will put their games on Epic. I think they have. But yeah, the console war is over because PlayStation can't fight that with Nintendo, and now PlayStation doesn't have to fight it with Xbox. So they're in their own lonely island of selling their games on their platform, on their console, and that's it. And they're more multi-platform than ever before. So yeah, that's really what's going on there. But yeah, thank you everybody for sticking around with my huge, gigantic face on the screen. That's really zoomed in. Got to take care of my skin a little better, huh? Okay. I was going to do this earlier, but you guys seem to, we talked a lot about PlayStation, but Jack Move Johnny, who's been a PlayStation content creator for a long time, gave this epic rant. I just want to cover some of his quick, because the YouTube, the podcast title is about PlayStation's problems. He said that PlayStation announced 12 games as a service titles early on in the generation, and they've canceled over half of them. That's crazy. I mean, they didn't officially announce them, but they've canceled half those, which means those studios wasted 1 to 3 years in a short 8-year or 7-year console development cycle, right? Now he says that PlayStation fans are saying, oh, good, we didn't want them anyway, which is another big problem because I know a lot of people said, who wants a God of War live service game? And I thought, why not? Like, if it's Blue Point and it's God of War, like, what if it was great? But what if it was dumb? Maybe nobody wanted it, but it could have been a game you could have bought. Like, maybe everyone looks at that and goes, okay, it looks like God of War, but you play with your friends. I don't want that. I had a hard time believing that. That would be like, I mean, most of Xbox's games are live service. I'm trying to think of like, I was like going to say Gears, but Gears always comes with multiplayer. I don't know. It's kind of weird to say we don't want that. Like, Days Gone team Bend Studios is working on their own live service game. Maybe it was a zombie open world, like State of Decay like game, or maybe it was something totally different. Like, I'm curious to see what it would have been, but PlayStation doesn't like it. So the other thing he said was, y'all bought a $700 Pro and you don't have any games. It's been 5 months and there's been no first party game that launched on the PS5 Pro. He said they've canceled more games and they have new IPs. And this has set them back 10 years and they've announced more movies and TVs than new video games. Yeah, it's been a interesting generation where the only new IPs on PlayStation are Returnal. Do I still have that graphic up? I'm trying to remember what other ones they had. They've had a couple new I can't remember. Chat, what were the new IPs that PlayStation had this generation? Returnal was one of them. I can't remember. Is Sir Bruvian in the chat? Sir Bruvian. Graham Man. Oh, they're just talking about what his name is. Returnal didn't sell well. I think it did. I think it did 10 million or something, or did it not? No, it did $1 million or something. Yeah, it didn't sell well. I could see. I didn't like it. I paid for it full price day one, and I couldn't do it. I'm not good enough gamer to rip through that one. Oh, Alex Roke says Concord. Concord was the other new IP. Destruction All Stars is another new IP that they published. That one didn't last. No, Astrobot's not a new IP. It's been around for a decade plus. I don't know. I don't know what new IPs they have, but yeah. We got, let's see. Yes, I think I got everything. Purple Haze, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, no, but will they put Epic or Steam Store on an Xbox on their next? Oh, I'm sorry, Purple Haze. I apologize. The question is, will Steam Store and Epic Game Store be on the next Xbox console? I think so. That's the rumor, and it makes sense to put it on there. I think that's where they're going. That's what's going to make the Xbox console more purchasable, because the Xbox might have fewer games because PlayStation will money hat things. But if you put Steam and Epic on there, then you say we have almost all the games, even PlayStation's. It would be a big deal. And I think that's going to help change the industry. Yeah. So Epic Game Store and Steam Store would be on the next Xbox console. Yeah. Pushing Polygon says that Death Stranding was sold to Kojima. Yeah, but they're still publishing they were already set and signed to publish Death Stranding 2 years ago. So that's still going forward, and it'll probably stay on PlayStation for 5 to 1 years. I don't know. I don't know what that deal is going to be. Knowing PlayStation, they don't have exclusivity for a short amount of time. I think we're getting into the 3 months. We're getting close to 3 months from Stalker 2, and it's still not announced for PlayStation. So I think that 3-month exclusivity for Stalker 2 was bullcrap, or it changed. It was reported in the Apple versus Google or something lawsuit way back in 2023. So I know some content creators are like, Stalker's coming to PlayStation, ASAP, 3 months. But I think a lot has changed, and that is now a longer exclusive with Xbox. Graham Man, thank you for the $2, says, Colt, just know I respect you, you son of a... No, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for those of you who are sticking around while I talk about this stuff. Purple Haze 4564 with another super chat. Thanks for the $5 Purple. Says, okay, so I'm really hoping for the game they haven't revealed yet on Thursday. I'm hoping it's Ninja Gaiden remade or a new entry to Ninja Gaiden. Probably not, but hoping. That would be really awesome. The NES Ninja Gaiden is one of my favorite games from that early generation of gaming. So I have not played the older ones. Like, I've played them a little bit, but they're really difficult. But I can think about a new one with what they would do in modern mechanics with a Ninja Gaiden game, which could be really cool. That'd be awesome. Is it bad if I say I want Ninja Gaiden to be more open world instead of just running down corridors? Is that bad? Does that make me a terrible gamer if I want to like go around and look for like equipment and gear and make my character like find cool gear to make him look awesome and cool swords? Does that make me a terrible person that I want an open world game? I don't know. We'll see. I am going to be playing tomorrow. I'm going to be playing Assassin's Creed Shadows for 5 hours and recording footage and putting together a preview video about that for Thursday. So have your questions ready about what you want or want to know about the game. I'm really excited to play that. So yeah. Okay, guys. Let me make sure that I've covered everything. It's been a crazy show of glitches and hitches and disconnects, but we appreciate all of you. Thank you guys so much for your support on the channel. I've worked really hard. I don't make YouTube. It's like, is it really hard work? But I've been getting up and coming in here and working on stuff. I've committed myself to putting out a weekly news video every Friday morning and trying to put out an extra video because I roll the show here tonight on a Monday, and then Tuesday morning, I'm still kind of exhausted from, having the lights on and using all the energy to hang out with you guys and still put out a video like in a day or two after the show. But thank you guys so much for your support. It's been amazing. If there's anything else Matt Cole says, you're not a horrible person. I know, I just like open world games. I'm a sucker for living and interacting and having an effect on that world and like collecting things. That's why I'm so excited for Avowed and so excited for Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. You can't just like organically walk out and say, let's see what is in this enemy encampment or in this village that, you know, it's so realistic. There aren't entrenched enemies and gear. You can't just, you can steal everything if you want, but you don't really want to do that in the game. I'm a sucker for that stuff. Yeah. Appreciate all you guys. So thanks so much for 4XP Gaming for sponsoring this channel, making it possible. Go check out their website. Just take a minute and go look and see what you want to check out from there and see, maybe order something in XNC 2025 is your 20% off coupon. We appreciate all of you. Thanks to you, Donna Kizada and Happy Bomb, for being weekly amazing moderators and keeping you guys all in line and you keeping them back in line in the same place. Sean the Bree in the chat says, hey buddy, I heard PlayStation has no games. Yeah, they're up a creek right now, but they'll recover. They'll money hat their way out of this one. I know they will. Gaming's better than ever. There's so many games. Thank you guys so much for checking out the show. I'm going to get out of here and you guys have a really great week. Just to give you a reminder, you're going to see a game preview Thursday. Assassin's Creed Shadows preview. That's all I can say about that. Assassin's Creed Shadows preview Thursday morning. And then in the afternoon, if you're in the US, in the afternoon, we have Xbox Developer Direct. I don't even know how long it is, but there's going to be like 3 surprises there, or maybe 2. I think 3. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a really great week. So, stay hydrated and be nice. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Also, if you want an Indiana Jones coin, I want to say this at the end because I don't know if anybody's still here. This doesn't normally get a lot of comments, but if you want an Indiana Jones coin, I'm going to give away 3 of them this week. Shoot. I'm trying to figure out how to do this best. Write some reference to Indiana Jones, or just write something about Indiana Jones after this podcast is wrapped in the comment section, which I'm going to hit the end here in a minute. If you just stick around, it will like show that it's done and you can leave a comment and write something about Indiana Jones. And I will pick 3 winners for one of these coins. That will be sent out from Xbox Fan Art. They're freaking awesome. All right, guys, you're amazing. I'm tired. Noise FOMO says, what did I miss? We talked about PlayStation's mess ups. Xbox is doing awesome. PlayStation is going to pull out of it, and it'll be great. All right, there's the thing. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for hit the like button on the way out. Just get that thing to 500, and I will see you in a couple of days or a few days with a new video. Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you. Tip your waiter. Bye. Bye.